Good afternoon to one and all present here. I welcome you to day 2 of Propel Pitchfest21. First and foremost, I would like to thank each one of you for taking out time from your busy schedule for the event yesterday and today. Propel Pitchfest21 is a platform provided by Propel Incubator at BML Munjal University to encourage new ideas, innovations, young startups, and also allow startups to showcase their ventures, interact with investors, build up network with ecosystem players, and learn from thought leaders. It is so said that the first impression is the last impression. The first day of the event was a grand success and everything went by smoothly. We had a panel discussion on investors and founders succeeding together and one on India UK startup collaboration. We even had an exciting fireside conversation with Mr. Nikhil Kamath, co founder and CEO of True Beacon and Zerodha. All the panelists engaged the crowd with their entrepreneurial journey and words of wisdom. Today, we have the finale of the pitching contest, and I'm really looking forward to the event. I, Ekta Gupta, would like to introduce you to our other hosts for the day, Jay Kishan Dalmia and Divyani Singh. I now hand over to Jay and Divyani.
After a tough competition between 303 teams that registered for Propel Pitchfest 21, we have with us the 8 finalist teams today who have successfully qualified for the final round, which is an achievement in itself. For the pitching contest today, we have 2 categories. The first is the Indian startup product, and the second is the Indian startup service. We have 4 teams in each of the categories. We will now commence with the pitching contest. Allow me to introduce the jury panel for the contest. In our jury, we have with us some of the most eminent angel investors who have decades of experience in the startup ecosystem. I would like to introduce them to our audience. Our first jury is Mr. Ajay Rajkaria, who is the Managing Director at APM Finvest Limited. Sir has a specialization in the field of finance, as he has obtained his MBA degree from Simon Business School, University of Rochester, US. He has contributed tremendously towards development of finance and has over 23 years of experience in the field of NBFCs.
Our next jury is Mr. Ramit Kumar. Mr. Ramit is a venture capitalist investment professional, CFO, business scalability expert, and a finance consultant focusing on small and medium enterprises. Currently partnered at our ventures and also advising companies on investments in the startups and SME space. Previously a partner at A&A Business Consulting, formerly known as Indian Institute of Learning and Development. Sir has led the finance consulting practice, strategic decision making, and managed operations, driving the group towards profitability. Our final jury is Mr. Manish Johari. Sir is a senior vice president at Lead Angels. Sir has over 2 decades of experience in the startup ecosystem. He has been a regular speaker at industry events. Sir has been an ace investor, strategic advisor, mentor, and board observer. Manish sir is very strong in relationship building, has an easygoing nature, and is highly task oriented. We will now begin with the Indian startup product category of the pitching contest. For this category, we have 4 teams competing: Batex Energies, Blisscare, Backyard Creations, and Dr. Nanoxa. I will now take everyone through the instructions for the pitching round. Kindly listen to the instructions carefully. The teams will be called in a random order, and as soon as the team's name is announced, they would be requested to switch on their videos and start their pitch. Each team gets 5 minutes to present, followed by another 5 minutes with the jury for question and answer session. The team will be given indication at 4 minutes and at 5 minutes. Teams are requested to stop the pitch at the second indicator. We will now be starting with the first track of the Indian startup product. All the best to all the finalists. The first team to present their pitch is Dr. Nanoxa. Team Dr. Nanoxa, you may switch on your camera, and if you want to share your screen, you may do it now. Your time starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well and are in good health. Let me start off with these two quotes, which are very relevant in this current time, which states that health is not valued until sickness comes, and hygiene is two-thirds of health. It all started in the year 2018 when a younger cousin of mine got UTI. The only option left with her was to pop in heavy doses of antibiotics. The pain and agony accompanying UTI is outrageous. UTI is a worldwide problem and it prevails in almost every household. So UTI was the why which compelled us to give birth to Secura Technologies Private Limited, which is a DIPP certified startup conceptualized in 2018, born in the pandemic with the line of products best suited for a post-pandemic world, with a vision to improve the hygiene quotient of the world for a better tomorrow. We live in a microbial world, a world full of bacteria, viruses, and germs in our environment. A clean looking surfaces might not be safe, leading to problems like microbial infections and healthcare associated infections. Thus, we are trying to solve the problem of making surface micro-free, thereby reducing the risk of microbial infection through surface touch.
So any conventional surface disinfectant lasts only for 10 to 15 seconds. Our proprietary product, Dr. Nanoxa, is a new age antimicrobial surface coating which is infused with nanoparticles and which provides biosecurity from bacteria, viruses, and germs for 30 days. The 24/7 contact killing technology makes surfaces self-sanitized for a period of 30 days and thus preventing human transmission of viruses as well as microbes. This eliminates the recurring need to disinfect surfaces after every interval of time. Dr. Nanoxa is perhaps the only product in the country which is successfully tested and proven against live coronavirus even after 45 days of application. We have done pilots to prove the authenticity of our product, ranging from dirtiest of dirty places like public toilets to a 5-star premium property. We have also applied, and we have also proud to announce that we have our association with the Army Officers Institute in Kolaba, and we have covered the entire buildings of the Andheri West in a joint initiative from Dr. Nanoxa and Shiv Sena. We are trusted by ISO, international standards, American standards, NABL, and these are some encouraging reports that we want to showcase. It is proven effective against live coronavirus, other bacteria, and other viruses which are 7 times more powerful than coronavirus to the tune of 99.9%. And all these tests have been conducted externally by NABL certified labs. So how are we different? First, the longevity. We are, as compared to other alternatives that are used in the market, we are 30 days prolonged protection as compared to 15 to 25 seconds of prolonged protection, which brings the monthly effort or monthly application cycle to one times a month as compared to 90 to 180 times a month, which further reduces our cost to less than 50 paisa a square feet a day as compared to 5 rupees a square feet a day. Also, the coating is completely environment friendly and human skin friendly, as it doesn't get flushed into the water bodies as the other applications does. It is tested and proven against live coronavirus and other harmful bacteria, which are the major reason for urinary tract infections. So our go-to-market strategy is briefly divided into 3 segments, that is business to government, business to business, and business to consumer. We plan to target the government via public-private partnerships.
You have 1 minute left.
Via government operation and NGOs. We plan to target the B2B via facility management services and CSRs, and B2C via big box stores and e-commerce. The majority of our fund utilization goes into marketing and market awareness. The majority of the revenue comes from direct B2B and B2G sales, as well as the subscription model wherein you subscribe for a Dr. Nanoxa hygiene pack. So join us on our mission to improve the hygiene quotient of Asia's largest slum, Dharavi, thus impacting 22,000 families by 2025. The viruses have played their part. What's your move? We are open to questions that you may have.
I would now request the jury to proceed with the questions with Dr. Nanoxa.
What's the price per bottle and how many times can it be used?
So, sir, this small bottle, it costs 1,200 rupees a liter, and it can cover a surface area of 500 to 700 square feet, and one-time application will give you a longevity of 30 days. So you do not need to use any of the alternators, any disinfection for next 30 days.
So, so this can be used. So say suppose that there is one public toilet of a PVR cinema theater. How much will it last over there? How many bottles would be required in a month? Let's assume that. I'm sure you would have tried it out at such places, right?
Yeah, so we have done pilots at Mukta cinemas, and so this bottle covers 10 public toilets. That's a Western toilet, and if you apply it today, it will stay. The coating will stay there for 30 days. So you do not need multiple bottles or multiple application cycles as compared to others, but it's only the one-time application that forms a coating on that particular surface, which makes it antimicrobial for next 30 days.
Okay, so 10 public toilets, 1,200 rupees. That's what you're saying. Is that correct?
Right. So that's 1 liter. So the 10 public toilets can be covered in half liter. So 600 rupees for 10 public toilets.
Who is the technical person who came up with the product? Is it your own product?
Yeah. So sir, it's a proprietary product and we own the patent. Rui from my team is the biotech person. Also, we have a team of 4 people who has dual PhD in who has done dual PhD in biotech as well as the nanoscience. And we have been personally mentored by top nanotechnologists of the country as well as in US.
And how much money have you put into developing the product?
So we have put in, including the product development, the multiple tests and everything, we have put in somewhere around 22 lakhs.
Okay. Now, given the fact that you talk about COVID, now it's largely been proven that surface transmission is not really a factor contributing to COVID. So, I mean, timing-wise, I know you're saying COVID, but isn't that really a false claim? Because I think surface transmission is really an issue.
So just to address this point, it's a valid point, so the core root of the business of Sicora remains the urinary tract infection UTI aspect of it. That is where we started building this up. Also, CDC as well as the World Health Organization comes with different theories every month. So sometimes it says that the viruses are viable for up to 28 days, which is a proven fact that viruses can remain on surfaces for 28 days, while the recent study said that it is not. So it's a jumbled up thing. People are not, they themselves are not very sure that is it transmitted via air or via touch surfaces, but it is a proven fact that scientists have proven that the viruses can remain on surfaces in an activated stage for up to 28 days.
So you're saying we should use it only in the bathrooms, or are you saying we can use it even on tabletops and everything else?
So the application of Dr. Nanoxa includes all the frequently high touch point areas like doorknobs, handles, toilet seat covers, railings, elevators, and of that sort.
And it doesn't damage any material. If you put it on a wooden table, it will not damage or stain the table?
Not at all. Not at all. It doesn't change the aesthetic look of the surface that it is applied on. It is non-flammable, it is non-alcoholic, and it is completely skin safe and environment friendly.
So can you use it to sanitize your hands also, or you can't?
No, you cannot. It is not a problem if you can sanitize it with your hands because the pores are very small enough to penetrate into your body, but it is not recommended for personal use.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ajay.
What's the some light on the team also? I'm sorry, Amit, please go ahead.
No. Manish, I'll go last. No problem. Please ask your question.
Okay. So the team, what is the background exactly? You did mention that Ruhi is a biotechnologist. So what about the others?
So Rui is the biotechnology student. Aditya is our marketing and branding expert. He is leading the marketing and branding segment for Sicora. I am the primary founder and I look after the business development on operations. We have people on board who has 35 to 40 years of finance and 25 to 30 years of strategic alliances and planning. And both these mentors and partners are from London Business School.
Don't you think your B2G will be a tougher nut to crack, and shouldn't you go more B2C and B2B first? Because government takes its own time to make decisions. and also the issues with payments and a lot of other things that you have to deal with.
Right. So, Mr. Ajay, this is just an incident which happened last week. So there was a tender floated of 15 crores in Maharashtra to cover the public transport buses. We were the right fit into that category, but because of the shortage of funds and we couldn't match the finance criteria of that tender, we were opted out for that. But in case of COVID, because it's such a important thing and crucial thing at the moment, payments and everything is not a problem at this stage. Just because of the lack of funds and lack of financial capacity, we couldn't cater to this tender. The tender was worth 15 crores just last week. Mr. Manish had some question.
No, hi, this is Amit. Yash, what is the competition looking like? Who are your competitors?
So, given the competitive landscape, we are competing with all the alternators and all the savants of the world who are this disinfecting segment. But I would like to point out that we are into a complete different category, which is into surface antimicrobial surface coating. It's more of laminating the surface. We do have 2-3 direct competitions, but they have their own set of pros and cons, and we have our own set of edge over them. We have the more number of test reports than any of the competition have. We have done pilots from public dirtiest of dirty places like public toilets to 5-star premium property.
And what about your go-to market strategy? How are you marketing yourself?
So currently, as I said, we are currently using with a limited bandwidth, limited size, we are currently using our personal connects and referrals to conduct pilots to bring in the B2B sales. But since the commercial establishments are all shut off and are already on their knees, so we are not expecting a good breakthrough in the B2B segment. But B2G segment and B2C segment is going really good.
Okay. Cool. And what's the plan looking like for the next 3 years? What kind of revenues are you planning for the next 3 years? Say 21, 22, 22, 23, and 23, 24?
We are projecting to grow on an annual growth rate of 25 to 30%. And since we are currently into the pre-revenue stage, we are projecting a turnover of around 5 to 7.5 crores in the next 2 years. And we plan to foray into more products which are based off nanotechnology and into the antimicrobial segment, just like antimicrobial paints, which is a $98 billion industry.
Hmm.
So have the product ready, it's under the testing phase, and every product which are best suited for a post-pandemic world, we are currently venturing into that space.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Yash.
Thank you. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you so much, Team Dr. Nanuk sir. The next team that would be presenting their pitch is Blizzcare. Team Blizzcare, you may switch on your camera now. And if you want to share your screen, you may do so now.
Yeah. Can you give us a minute or two for us to mark it?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Till that, Jay, can you confirm once if my presentation is visible?
Affirmative. Your presentation is visible.
Yeah, like I'm on the first page now. Can you see the second page now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Ready whenever you.
Yeah. Judy, let us know when you're ready.
Sure.
Dr. Nanuk sir.
I'm ready. This is Ajay Rajguria, but we have to wait for the two.
Sure, sir.
Okay, good to go from my side. Yeah.
Manish, sir,
Yeah.
are
Good.
we ready? Okay. So, Team Blisker, your timer starts now. You may present.
286 million. That's the number of visually impaired people over the globe who cannot see this beautiful world and are also deprived of a basic education, which is a basic human right. We are here to solve this problem and we are blessed here. That stands for Blind Students Care. Now, what is the problem? There are 63 million visually impaired people over the globe, over India. Of this, only 5% get any sort of education due to lack of a braille literacy. Why this problem arises? Because the production of a braille formatted book is very expensive and can go up to 40 to 50 INR per page. So consider if they want to read a book of merely 100 pages, it is costing them more than 4,000 to 5,000 INR, which is not at all affordable. And for example, the famous Harry Potter book, which we used to read, is costing 270 INR for ourselves, but for the visually impaired, it is costing more than 5,000 INR. So that's a difference. And at the same time, the braille printer that is specifically being used in the blind institutes, blind relief associations is costing 2.5 lakhs and it needs maintenance every 3 months of about 2,000 INR. This is how they're expensive the resources of the visually impaired schools and individuals are. And because of this reason, what happens, the content available to them is very limited. And the accessibility to online and offline content, the privilege we have to read online and offline content is not available to them. And the extent of a problem is basically over the globe. Like the education of visually impaired is abysmal. We are trying to solve this problem. And what is the scariest part? This number is expected to triple in the coming years. So that is the scariest number. Now, what is the solution? Solution is in the form of a device. A device is a braille display system that can convert any text, diagram, or a map into physical dotted braille format. It is a structure similar to that of a tablet, but it's not a normal tablet because this tablet has a holes on it. The surface has a holes on it, and the beads bulges out at a real time, so that a blind individual can touch, feel, and understand whatever is replicated on the same to help visually impaired institutes and individuals, and that too at a lower and affordable cost. Second most important thing associated with the same is content. We provide them with the unlimited content available online and offline, which is available to us. And that too at a grade 1 and grade 2 braille. Now, grade 1 and grade 2 replicates to two variants of a braille module that varies in accordance to multivariate languages. So we support multiple languages with a single solution. So this tablet can help you understand any text. This tablet can help you understand any images structure for the visually impaired, and it has audio-based support as well. And if you do not know how to understand braille, this particular device helps you in the same as well with a haptic feedback mechanism, and it talks back to you in case of your needs. So this is a prototype that we have tested with one of the institutes where you can see a visual impaired trying to understand the pattern with a finger. So it's a touch-based mechanism and the field-based mechanism that we are promoting with the help of this particular device. So currently we are in an MVP stage, which has been tested and validated with the users. And on the right-hand side, you can see a beads getting buzzed out for which a visually impaired is trying to understand and feel it by the hand. So it's a beads mechanism, bulge out mechanism. So what is the key aspect of our technology or the USP? Our maintenance cost is 25 times less in comparison to competitor. We have a unique bulge out mechanics that is 3 times cost efficient and that can be scaled up quickly. Most importantly, we have two patents on the same, the process patent and the design patent, which acts as an entry to barrier. So this is the market, TAM 286 plus million users divided over the globe, SAM 63 plus million users divided over India, SOM 3 plus million users divided regionally over India, or as we are targeting B2B market in a form of blind relief association, blind institutes, NGOs, etc. So this is a go-to-market strategy, direct approach with the product demo, launching MVP containing open source content, and third, forming a community where one visually impaired people can communicate with another visually impaired. They can learn from each other, they can share each other's stuff. And the channels are radio and audio promotion, NGOs, media outlets, social and welfare. This is a competitor analysis. University of Michigan, Braille Project, Mudra, Braille Me, and BlackTab are the major competitors.
1 minute left.
But in comparison to them, we provide full-fledged tablet device that is we can replicate whole page at a real time and as well as image, which our competitor cannot. We provide learn braille feature that is we make them independent in reading, writing, and understanding. We provide adapted content, like any content you want to read at a real time, you can do it. Maintenance and pricing is also very low in comparison to competitors. Revenue stream 1 unit cost is 10,000 INR, attachable module from 300 to 500 INR. Interactive content subscription is 500 to 1,500 INR. Investment one-time investment is 1.8 to 1.85 CR, which would be required after 5 years because initially we are doing it on the contract manufacturing basis, and break even is 2 years, 3 months, or if we capture 11 to 12 schools. Total revenue is expected to increase by 61% and gross margin by 57% per year. This is a testing and validation certification that we have already done. This is my team. I'm specifically an hardware guy of a team. Nikita Kumari, she takes care of empathizing and understanding the customer. Abhilash Daphne is a technical, takes care of the technical aspect. And we have a support medical advisors as contract manufacturers that's specifically in Hyderabad region. So we are talking in talks.
How much does it cost to manufacture each tablet?
Sure. So marketing cost, manufacturing cost, operational cost per device is 5,849, and we are selling at 10,000 INR, and around 40% is the profit margin on this.
Okay, fair enough. Fair. Okay, I'll have more questions later. Okay.
Sure, sure.
So in terms of traction, do you already have some people using it, or and what is your content acquisition strategy?
Sure. Okay. So yes, we do have the users in Nagpur, and we have also given away some of the prototypes to the institutes as well, which has been successful testing as of now. And second question, sir, can you repeat this question?
Question was, what is your content acquisition strategy?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Do you already have content, or will you be creating it?
Okay.
That content would have far greater monetizability, I think.
Right. Yes, sir, we understand.
Only the tablet.
Yes, sir. So what this Braille tablet provides is basically it can replicate any content available online and offline. Like you have any PDF, you can read at a real time. If you want to read any Wikipedia page or anything, you can read at a real time. But yes, we do have the content subscription as well, which is specifically interactive content that has been created by our team. So it is ranging from 500 to 1,500 INR per point for the visually impaired. But rest everything available online and offline for free will be available to them for free with the help of this device itself. And they do not need to go anywhere else. And interactive content specifically for the schools, institutes, and NGOs, we are creating that interactive content. If they need, that's optional.
Okay, thanks.
So how will this work? Somebody will download a PDF book onto the device, and then that will convert it into a Braille format, or?
Yes, sir. So like if you have any documents, you can directly upload it. It's a normal tablet, whatever normal tablet we have used. It has USB part. You can directly send your data into the same, and also you can download it at a real time on the OLED system that is given below, which at a real time from the mail, if you want to download any part, you can download it, and whatever is on the screen that you want to get replicated in the Braille format, that gets replicated at a real time with the help of this.
Yes, but what if somebody wants to read a book which is not available for free? I mean, if you have a Kindle, you have a Kindle, but you can also go buy books. So you have to create content where people can get paid content also, right?
Right. Yes.
How do you propose to address that?
Yes, sir. So consider anyone wants to read a HBR content that is paid one. So if they want to read, they can pay it directly to them, and they can bring in or whatever the content is, and at a real time you can read it with this device. So that is what we bring in. And for creating content, we are specifically targeting NCRT and the National Blind Leaf Associations to make a content for the schools and institutes. So that is where we're targeting specifically in the content domain. But rest, yes, it would be available to them if they take direct subscription about that. If they want to read any novel or the article, they can take direct subscription, and they can read on this tablet at a real time. So that won't be an issue, and they won't be hindered for their education.
Hey, hi, Chinmay. Do you need some special training to start using it? Do you need manual intervention? You need some teachers, etc. do it, or just do it yourself kind of a thing?
Exactly. That's the most beneficial part of this. Now, what happens is, if you are reading a Braille, and if you go to visually impaired school, there each teacher is involved with a particular student. They need to explain them about the same. They need to take care of them from moving from one place to another. But what this device does is basically it provides them with it is backed by haptic feedback mechanism, which guides the visually impaired to read, write, and understand braille at a real time. So they don't need to be dependent on anyone else. So what is the main important feature is they can understand the structure of any image. Like consider they want to understand the image of a brain. They can understand the brain. Understand the image of a brain with this device at a real time with our particular device, which is not available in the existing solution or anywhere else. So that is what we bring in with this particular innovation.
Okay, and what kind of sales are you looking at for the next 3 years? Say the end of 24, what will be the turnover of your company?
Yes, sir. So we have estimated for the first 5 years here, the gross margin and the total expense and the net profit. So this is the estimation of the same. But initially we are starting with West Bengal, Odisha, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, because it has the highest number of visually impaired there. And they're more active in supporting them as well, the government there. And also we had the communication with visually impaired over these regions. So that is the start we are looking at. And if we talk about the break even, it's 2 years, 3 months. And already we have spent around 2.8 lakhs on this R&D development of the prototype. And we have developed 7 prototype as of now, which has been successfully tested. And we have ready to go commercial.
Okay, you're talking about here gross margins 84.3, 163.2 and things like that, right?
Yes. Right.
So I was wondering, why have you written gross margins here? You're going to be selling a tablet at 10,000 rupees. So your revenue should be 10,000 rupees, not your gross margins, right? In this case.
Right. Yes, sir. So we are targeting as an individual, as a student in a classroom form. Like if we are targeting 11 to 12 schools, there are around 115 to 116 classrooms. So we are setting up a digital classroom solution for the visually impaired classroom itself. So that in that sense, it was made. So gross margin and everything.
So that's what I'm asking. And at the end of year 3, assuming 21, 22 is the first year, what will be your revenue at the end of year 3, L24? What will be your turnover?
Turnover, sir, we have estimated around 300 lakhs estimated. So not yet fixed, but yes, around 300 lakhs.
So that's 3 crore rupees.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Team BlizzCare. Judy, I would request you to let us know when we are ready to call in the next team.
Ajay Rajgiri, I'm ready.
I think you're good to go.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, thank you, Judy. The third team that will be presenting their pitch is BATEX Energies. Team BATEX Energies, you may switch on your camera, and if you want to share your screen, you may do it now.
Thank you.
Your timer
I
starts
hope my
now.
screen is
Yes, positive. It's visible.
okay. A very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Utkarsh, and with me I have Vikrant today, and we are the founders of Batex Energies. 3 years back, while Vikrant and I were working on our college project, we realized that there is a need of a lot of lithium-ion batteries because we were building an electric vehicle. We went out in the market and for search of a lithium-ion battery, but it was very expensive. Then we got curious why the rates are so high. When we came back and did a lot of research, we realized because India doesn't have minerals to make lithium ion cells within India. And we are totally dependent on other nations for developing lithium on for electric vehicle batteries. That is where we coined the idea and we got on a mission to develop an innovative solution to extract the valuable minerals out of end of life batteries preserving the finite natural resources, and contributing to a circular economy for India. We identified the major problems. We know there's a global push for electric vehicles around the globe. That means there will be a lot of batteries utilized in the market, and it is going to create a huge waste. And the minerals that are used to make these batteries are very valuable, ranging from $12,000 million to $51,000 million per ton. Therefore, we developed a technology which is proprietary for closed loop recycling. How we are going to help our customers, we will become their recycling partners, as government has already mandated that every electric vehicle or lithium-ion battery manufacturer has to take care of their own manufacturing, and they have to take care of the scrap. We are going to create a supply chain within India for the raw materials of lithium-ion batteries, contributing to the Atmanirbhar campaign and making India self-reliable. Our technology is totally proprietary, as in we have already filed for patent for the process as well as design. If I talk about the market size here, by 2030, there are going to be around 128 million electric vehicles on road. That is, the market size of the electric vehicle batteries will be around $12.9 billion in India. And if I talk about the market of battery recycling, it will be $1 billion within itself. And we, being the pioneer in this technology starting today, we want to capture 10 to 12% of the market. That will be around $100 million. Our technology is totally sustainable. We have already applied for the patents in recycling for the design and machinery, and we are going to refine cobalt, nickel, manganese, and lithium up to 99% of the purity. And our model is totally scalable. That is, from 100 tons to 10,000 tons, we just have to replicate the machinery that we have designed to attain those targets. Our business model is based on the hub and spoke. That is, we are going to create a lot of spokes around the country where these scrap will be collected locally. And then it will be converted into black mass, and black mass will be sent to our hub where we are going to extract the material. That is, if I talk in terms of financial numbers, $1.5 million of scrap can give and generate a value of $10.9 million worth of minerals, which Indian cell manufacturers can use to manufacture cells within India, and the rates of the batteries can come down. We have done significant traction so far. It has been 1 year since the company has been registered. We have already set up a pilot plant in Bilaspur, Manesar, where we have extracted these materials up to 85% of the purity. Once we receive these cells, we have realized there is some energy which is left in majority of the scrap that we receive. Therefore, to completely exhaust that energy, we have also created some product out of second life cells. So we are already selling those products in the market for last 2 months. Last month, our sale was around 15 lakh rupees worth of batteries. We have done some significant collaborations for R&D and sales. We are already incubated at BML Munjal University. We are in a collaboration with IIT Delhi for automating the process. We are working with EVI Technologies for developing swapping stations out of second life cells. And we are also have partners, all across the country who are going to source batteries for us. That has given us immense media coverage all over the news. If I talk about, and this is all possible just because of fantastic team that we have with Pulkit, who is the VP of Finance, who has an immense experience in finance, with Avik, who takes care of the procurement, sourcing, and sales. We have amazing advisors on board who helps us in technology and setting the strategies right. If I talk about the financials, by 2026, we target to do a revenue of $24 million by a GP margin of 61% and EBITDA of 29%. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Team Blister.
Okay, thank you.
I will now request the jury to proceed with the questions.
I think this is a great cause, but can you talk a little about your technology and its validation?
Sure. Vikrant, would you like to take that?
Yeah. So let's suppose all the laptop battery, phone battery, or power bank battery, or the lithium-ion battery, all the batteries having same chemistry and same internal structure. The only difference in electric vehicle battery, maybe if you talk about phone battery, the only difference is the size and the outer structure of the battery. Inside the battery, if we talk about, contain the same material, more and over little bit difference. So what we are doing is, first we collect the batteries, we short the batteries, we short the good batteries, and for the good batteries, whatever the good batteries, we make batteries out of them, and then we discharge the batteries fully. And then after discharging, we shred the battery into the shredder, we crush the battery, and then we separate out the powder, the lithium metal oxide, which is present inside the batteries. We separate it out using electromechanical process. And here you can see the material breakup, which is inside the battery. There you can see that 17% will be copper, 8% aluminum, and then 15% electrolyte. Separator plastics, you can get 3%. And then besides that, you can get 12% maybe cobalt, 9% nickel, 5% lithium, and then remaining it contains manganese. So after shedding, what we are doing is we are recovering the powder, which is called as a black mass. And after that black mass, we do a hydrometallurgical and chemical process to separate out each element separately in the virgin form, maybe as a cobalt sulfate, nickel hydroxide, lithium bicarbonate, your graphite, and the manganese sulfate. So we own 2 patents. One is the whole process patent, and second one is the design machinery patent. Mainly, we have designed our own shredders, and also we have designed our own crushers in-house for the black mass generation. And after further for hydrometallurgical things, we are in the design of our own apparatus to precipitate each virgin materials. So this is the whole plant from starting to end, which is designed by us. And now we are going to set up a facility of 300 tons per year. And whole plant is in a modular form, where you can increase or decrease the capacity of each machinery based on the requirement and the volume availability of the batteries.
Exactly.
I think we also wanted to know about the validation, right? So where is the battery? Is the battery, have you manufactured some pieces, give out to people and things like that?
Sir, we already have the reports that we have tested at the laboratory at BMU only, because they have a Center for Advanced Materials and Devices. So we have those reports with us, and we have already tested that the material that has been extracted is 85% of the purity. Probably Vikrant, you can explain in more in some words, yes, that what machinery has been used to test it.
Yeah. So here we have our in the laboratory of BML, we have a scanning electron microscopy. We have FTIR, as well as we have this XRD. So all the machinery is in-house, where we have tested all the report in our machinery, where we have seen that we have reached up to 85% of the purity of the materials. Still, we are trying to get up to 99.9% of the virgin material, but in the graphite, we are already in the 99% of the purity, and that material can utilize again into the battery, that graphite which we have recovered, which is having same orientation, same chemistry, same size, which can be again utilized into the battery packs. So all these validation we have done in our laboratory with the help of ICP, inductive coupled plasma mass spectroscopy, where AAS, atomic absorption mass spectroscopy. So already we have reports which verifies the quality.
Okay, I'll interrupt you here because I think I got that explanation. When are you launching it?
Sir, we have already done it. We are counted amongst the 10 recycling players in the India, and we are the pioneer company who is also doing the material extraction. There are 2 or 3 more companies in this sector, and we have already set up a pilot plant where we have extracted the black mass. And now we are, that was in Bilaspur, and now we are setting up the commercial level plant at Hero Honda Chowk, Gurgaon.
So that's what I was asking. Where can I find the batteries?
The batteries you can find in the Bilaspur. So I'm talking about the recycling plant here. If you want to see about the batteries that we have created, it is already in the market. It is already manufacturing at Bilaspur, where we are doing manufacturing at Bilaspur, and it is also circulated in the market in Agra and Rajasthan. We are in the final level discussion with OE Rickshaw, where they are going to buy that swapping batteries from us, which will be around 200-300 batteries per month. And then final discussion is also with the EV aggregator, which is Sheru. They are also going to buy batteries from us.
Okay, I'm done. Yeah.
Are we good, jury? Should we proceed? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Batex Energies. Jury, I
Thank you.
would request you to let us know when we are ready to call in the next team.
No, just one last question. What is the current revenue?
So current revenue out of second life batteries monthly is around 15 lakh to 20 lakh rupees. The main revenue will start coming in when we complete the recycling facility and we start selling the extracted materials, cobalt, nickel, and manganese.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Team Batex Energies. Jury, I would request you to let us know when we are ready to call in the next team.
Yes, we are good to go.
Sure, sir. So the last team which we have to present their pitch in the Indian startup product category is Backyard Creators. Team Backyard Creators, you may switch on your camera, and if you want to share your screen, you may do so now.
Sir, is our screen visible to
Question
you?
before the start. Are they twins?
Yes, sir. So your timer starts now.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. We are Backyard Creators, making them hear the unheard. Meet Mr. Thuru, who is 21 years old, and meet Mr. Sundar, who is 13 years old. They both are brothers from a same family, affected by a by birth hearing loss. Not only them, over the millions of people in India are affected by the same problem. For them, there is an one and only solution is an hearing aid implantation. On having the hearing aid implantation, they are facing many problems. Mainly, they need to do a open skull surgery and placing a magnified electrode inside the skull. On having this implantation, they are having many restrictions, like they mainly do an open skull surgery and they must done a surgery within 8 years. They are unable to take an MRI for a lifetime. They are unable to use a smartphone. Even they are unable to get near to the any metal because the head get attached. Like this, it has a many disadvantages, and all the implantation is a not 100% success rate solution. So we have overcome all these disadvantages, and we are providing an aggressive non-surgical hearing aid which totally avoiding an implantation surgery. There is no more surgery needed for hearing loss. We are mainly avoiding an implantation surgery, which is suit for all ages. There is no restriction while using our product. Like they can take an MRI, they can use a smartphone, and our product is highly cost effective, sir. So it works by our product look like this, and we are working on a patented technology. We are giving a nerve impulse directly to the cochlea. On doing that, the patient can able to hear without doing a implantation. Here is our clinical validation images. We have successfully piloted with more than 50 plus patients in India. They can able to hear through our device without doing an implantation, sir. And here is our video. And this is what person told book from his birth he doesn't hear any word. For a first time in their lifetime they can able to hear through our device. And also on providing continuous speech therapy to them, we are also able them to speak, sir, on using our device. This is how we are creating an impact in the people lives. So, and here is our main competitive landscape. We are providing a non-surgical solution which suit for all ages at zero restriction at a very affordable cost, sir. So here is our global market and market opportunity. Our main business models are a B2B, B2C and a B2G. So our invention is awarded and certified by the Japanese government as the best inventions all over the world by the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications. So here is our main market strategy. The actual cost of the implantation is around some 10 to 15 lakhs. Only under the government scheme called ADIP, it's cost around 6 to 10 lakhs. But even the government has failed in this scheme. because over 300 people in a state get benefited through this scheme. So, but over 10,000 people were applied for it. So if our solution and come, our solution is cost around 35 to 45K, up to 45K. So if our solution come, it will create an impact over 15,000 people through this scheme. This is how we are going to create an impact, sir. So here is our partners. We both Raman and Lakshman, a 19-year-old co-founder of the startup, and Prashant Goyal sir, who is helping for a business development, and Grace and Dr. Grace sir, who is helping for a clinical validation, all those things. So here is a demonstration to a state and central ministers of our product. So here is our impact images, what we have piloted with the patients, sir. So like these 50 patients, we need to create impact on the millions of families in India, sir. Thank you, sir.
Did you say this product is for people who are hard of hearing or people who can't hear at all?
So the people who can't hear from a birth.
And at what age do you put the implant in?
So it suits for all ages, sir.
I think that might not be actually correct, because after a certain age, from what I know, if a person cannot hear, then after some time his other sense organs actually take over that part of his brain, and any implant that happens after the age of 4 or 5 will not work, because that part of his sense organ has been taken over by his eyesight or by some other sense organ. Do you know about this?
Yes, sir, we know about this. Only the person should under the 8 age, because the learning capability is very low after 8. That's the reason why their device is not good. But what we are doing, we are giving a certain innovative speech therapy to them. So on doing that, up to 15 to 20, the people can hear through our device, sir.
The cochlear implantation.
Even while we are piloting with patients, what the difficulties we are facing is to communicate with them. From the birth, they doesn't hear the word. If they hear a word amma, but they don't know the meaning of word amma, so that's a difficult part. So we have come out with a unique speeching therapy for that, sir. The age limit for the implantation is 8, but the age limit for us is around 20 to 25. It depends upon the learning capability of a patient, sir.
And you said the device is for $35,000 to $45,000.
No, sir, it's only 30,000, sir. 35,000. So
no, but you have a dollar thing.
No, sir, not a dollar. Sir, we need to highlight here one thing. We may cost around 20 lakhs because we are providing a non-surgical solution. The only reason is to be scale easily and affordable to all. That's the only reason, sir. Because even in our family, there is a patient with us by birth and total hearing loss.
What is the cost of the product when you are making it? How much does it cost to make this?
The cost of manufacturing is up to 25,000, sir. The cost of selling is up to 45,000.
Okay. When you're saying 45,000, it's 45,000 rupees.
45,000 rupees, sir.
Yeah, because
all we have said is INR.
Yeah, the presentation talks about $35,000. So I think
so that was a little confusing.
No, sir, it's
a typo.
Yes, sir. The cost is 15 lakhs. The actual cost of the implantation is 10 to 15 lakhs. So only under the government scheme, it's cost up to 6 to 10 lakhs. But our solution is around 35 to 45,000
Indian rupees, sir. There is
symbol. There is we have placed some wrong.
And you have patented this technology yet? Or
yes,
no?
sir. We have patented in this technology, and we have also filed a PCT. Parallelly, we are working for 2 more patents in a design and utility to secure in more ways.
How large is the market?
Sir, here is our market opportunity. So in India, over 63 million people were affected by this problem.
Okay.
The source data was
taken from WHO. So all this data, what we have put is from WHO.
It sounds good again, but I'm still a little, I'm not totally convinced that you can do it till the age of 20 that you said, or even to the age of 8.
Sir, here is a great example we have shown you. The age of Thiru is 21, and they can able to hear through audio. The reason is, sir, on providing a speech therapy, the reason why the implantation is not done for a 20 or 18 aged people category is to communicate with them to learning capability, sir. It depends upon the learning capability of a people. So on doing a surgery, they done some huge risk on it. Because after doing the implantation, if they're not having that much of learning capability, they cannot re-implant it. But in our solution, they need to stick only. They know it's an adhesive material. They need to stick, sir. So there is no risk in that. Even if they not suit, they can remove. But it is not suit for a implantation. That's the age limit for the implantation, sir. That's the exact reason for a age limit for a implantation surgery, sir. Have you get my point, sir?
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yes, sir.
Also, I think if your costing is about 25,000 rupees and you're selling it between 30,000 rupees is too lower price to sell it at. You need to look at your pricing
up to
again.
45,000, sir.
Yeah, but up to on what basis are you saying 30 to 45? You have to have one price, or you can have multiple prices for different people.
Yes, sir. So we are not still in commercializing. We are waiting for a few certifications. So after that only we can give us the exact price of our product, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. No questions from my side.
Yes, sir. Any more questions, sir?
Ajay sir, Manish sir, anything from your end?
I'm good.
Could you just show the projection slide once again? How the numbers will ramp up?
Sir.
Is there a financial slide? How your numbers will go up?
What, sir?
Your financial slide.
So we have not included a financial projection slide here. So we are just putting our global market values and what market we can achieve. Yes, sir. A market opportunity. Yes, sir. We need to work on it, sir.
Okay, got it.
Yes, yes, sir.
No, I
So
think
any
we
more
are good.
queries, sir?
No, we are good.
Thank you so much, team Backyard Creators.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So with this, we come to an end to the Indian Startup Product category. And I would like to thank all the teams for the wonderful pitch session of their ventures. Moving ahead, I would like to share with you a little about our partners by showing you a video.
Marking is done. We can start with the other session if there's any introductions or anything required.
Hope you enjoyed the video. We will now be starting with the second track of the pitching contest, which is Indian Startup Service. For this category, we have 4 teams competing that are Evo, Happy Minds, Nodbot, and Transcreation. I will now take everyone through the instructions for the pitching round. Kindly listen to the instructions carefully. The teams will be called in random order. As soon as the team name is announced, they will be requested to switch on their videos and start their pitch. Each team gets 5 minutes to present, followed by another 5 minutes with the jury for a question and answer session. The teams will be given an indicator at 4 minutes and 5 minutes. Teams are requested to stop the pitch at the second indicator. The first team to present their pitch is Evo. Team Evo, you may switch on your camera, and if you would like to share your screen, you may do so now. Your time starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Saurabh Jain, and I'm representing Team Evo. So Evo basically stands for Electrical Vehicle on Rent. So as we know that in India, 70% people are relying on two-wheelers for their everyday commute. So we are here to solve that problem. So what we found is that out of people are not having the access for affordable rides over the town. And plus we are also found that there is a lot of e-commerce people who are relying on two-wheelers for the last mile delivery, have facing the cost issue with the rising petrol cost and cost involved for the delivering per parcel. There are also delivery executive involved in this industry, which are depend on this delivery segment work for their daily wages. So this is the problem we are addressing, along with the pollution problem, which is one of the major social problem in our society. So for this, we are introducing our product, which is Evo. So what we are doing is we are making electrical vehicle available to all the people for the daily commute, and also we are serving B2B segment and working with the various corporate clients like More Retail and Flinto, to mention few of them, and to make their fleet electric. For doing so, we are also making mini station across the city to get easy access to the electrical vehicles near to them. So this is the how market looks like. So we are talking about a $3 trillion industry, global market in the shared mobility and last mile delivery. So what we are we had picked the Bangalore as our beachhead market, which is worth of 4,000 crores. So as you know, Bangalore is the largest shared mobility market in India. So that's why we chose Bangalore as our beachhead market. So this is the product we are developing. So what we are trying to build is we are also for enhancing the user experience for booking and get the vehicle easily access to them. We are also working on a first-in-class app-based booking mechanism with the help of an IoT device, where people can access to the vehicles with the direct touch of their fingerprint. So that immediately make them they can access the vehicle immediately, and they don't need to do anything apart from that. So that is one touch point for them to access the vehicle. So this kind of IoT model we are working for that. As far as we are also introducing one program which is called Evo Rental Association Program, where any individual investor can invest into minimum vehicles of 5 vehicles and up to 50 vehicles. So they can simply invest a certain amount to our company, and we will be providing them annual returns up to 25%. This is our traction till now. We already have 2,000 plus registered users on our platform. We already our customer traveled 90,000 plus kilometers already done with the just number of 18 vehicles in the fleet. We are still generated 5.2 lakhs of revenue, and we are looking forward to increase our fleet up to 500 vehicles in the coming year. This is our projection. As we are talking about this industry, as I told, this is for 4,000 crore market. If we're talking about the beachhead market, we are looking to capture around 10 to 12% of the market in up to 2023, and 5% market of the last mile delivery solution. So this is the projection that we are estimating the revenue of 1,467 million INR, and which will give us the profit of 432 million in INR. So we are planning to do almost 41,000 rides a day, and that too with the use of 16,000 vehicles and commencing around 45 deliveries a day
1 minute
by
left.
using the same vehicles. So this is the strategy to increase the revenue. We can multiply the revenue by scaling it for even for the 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers segment. And we can also foray into tier 2 and tier 3 cities like Indore, Jaipur, Kota, which have a high potential for last mile delivery categories. And also we are making battery charging station across the network, which can be available for our customers as well as for the other company customer who can charge their vehicles for using that station. While doing so, we are also able to save 5,000 tons of carbon emission with just 10% of the market share of our BTech. This is some of the recognition we got. We are semi-finalists in Climate Launchpad 2020. We are incubating under SNU right now, and we have received the grant under Facebook program. We have 13 years as a founder. We have 13 plus years of experience in the field of development, business development, marketing, and recruitment. Thank you, sir.
Time is up.
So do you own those 16 scooters that you bought, and what is the payback for a scooter?
Yes, sir. We have all the 18 vehicles. We own the 18 vehicles right now. So
and
we are
what is the payback?
Into it. So till now, that's what from the like 7. We started with the 7 vehicles journey, and after from last 3 months only we introduced another 10 vehicles. So till now we have generated revenue around 5.2 lakhs.
No, have you done any calculation as to the payback? In how long do you get the money back?
Time.
Yeah.
Yes. We are done. We are estimating the payback in 15 months.
15 months. And
yes.
I think your biggest constraint is going to be your charging station, because if you're using it for a B2B business model and the people can't charge the scooters, then it falls flat on its face, right?
Yes. In case of the B2, the charging network I was talking about is the B2C. Right now, the B2B people are having their own, most of like we have some customers, they are charging the scooters in their own premises. Most of the people are like creating a charging network for their own premises and charging the scooter. This micro station I was talking about for B2C customers, where we can leverage the individual house and shops where they can give us a space, certain space for 5 to 10 vehicles, where we will be creating an infrastructure which will help them to generate extra revenue for them, and that will also cut our operational cost for the same, which is faced by other people for replacing the.
I think there are a lot of people who are already doing this actually.
Yes, there are players in the market, but there will be players who will be only into infrastructure or only into fleet. There are only few people who are doing for their own fleets. So we want to be one of them, where our own customers will not have to, they can rely on us for the charging.
Okay, thank you.
How does that create a moat? In fact, it's more of this thing. You have to straddle two sides of the thing. One is the B2C side, as well as another is the B2C side. And you require your staff for maintaining not only the charging stations, but also the fleet that you have. So it is a double cost that would be there. How does that become an advantage? I'm like, that's what my question is.
So you're talking about the managing to fleet into areas, how we are going to keep these fleets. That's what your question is.
I'm saying, how will it be an advantage if you are owning the vehicles and also charging stations? How will that be an advantage to you?
What happened is that as you study the competitors, there are a few competitors out there who are into same segment. If you study their things, then most of the costs will be going to the operational side of the thing. So operation costs mainly involve the main power, which is included in the changing of battery, which is including from shifting one fleet to another place. So that is the major cost of operation occurring for them. So what we want to try to do is, if we are having a micro station across the places with the help of small establishment houses in all the area nearby, so we will be sharing a revenue with them, So they can have, suppose you having any space out there, you can simply share that space with us. We will be having small charging infrastructure, like small, it's not like a very high capex model, like very small charging structure with the boards over there with the help of their own electricity, and we'll be providing the revenue for the vehicles and plus the electricity bill what we are using out of that. So they have one source of extra income for their free spaces, and this will help to all the operation costs for changing the batteries, to moving the employees across the town for the replacing the batteries or towing the vehicles from one place to another. All this cost can be saved by. Well, if you see that what happened for earning 1 rupee of revenue, they are spending on 100 rupees of 100 rupees for doing all these operations. So we want to cut that operation cost by doing so.
I still cannot get how owning a fleet will help you cut down the cost or expand usage of your infrastructure. I still don't get it. Anyway, let's
owing the fleet, sir. Right?
You are owning the fleet, right? You have your own fleet.
Yes, that's what
exactly
what
my
I talked
question.
about.
That how will owning a fleet
give
you an advantage, give you a cost advantage against your other competitors, people who are putting up the charging infrastructure or people who are putting their fleets out in the market.
So that's what for owing the fleet. That's why I told about the program era, where we are not buying directly the fleets. We will be attracting individual people who want to have a fixed monthly returns for them. It's like an investment for them. They can invest into a company for certain fleets, like 10 fleet, 20 fleet, up to their requirement, and we will be providing a monthly return in a fixed form to them. Suppose you are having 5 fleet with us, we will be having an 13,000 rupees of minimum return every month. So we will be
I
providing
understand that totally. Saurabh, I understand that. I understand you're using shared economy, but I'm saying if you're straddling both the sides of it, one is the infrastructure side of it, and one is the mobile part of it, it could be more of a challenge rather than an advantage. That is what my views are. And
yeah, it's a challenge, but
how will it be an advantage if you are say creating market for fleet also, you're creating a market for this also, because I mean it is a costly affair. It would require capex, whatever little bit, even if you have other people joining you for that, who will take it up as a franchise or something of that sort. But the way I see it would be more of a challenge, because you are also you are creating the market also, you are producing for the market also, and then you're creating an infrastructure for maintaining the thing also. So I think it could be quite a task managing all of these things together. That's my view. I mean, okay.
Yes, I got your point that you're telling. It's a tough task to have all of that. Any other question, sir?
What did you say your existing revenue is?
5.2 lakhs. Till now, we are having a monthly revenue around 70,000 recurring revenue. Until now, we have done revenue for 5.2 lakhs.
70,000 is the monthly revenue on 18 scooters.
Yes, and out of which we are not operationalized for a full year of.
No.
You're hardly
your monthly revenue is your monthly revenue, right? So that's 70,000 rupees on 18 scooters. And what is the cost of a scooter?
70,000, including all the IoT and everything.
Okay. Now you're thinking of tying up with some scooter manufacturers? I mean,
right now we are reaching out, but yeah, we are trying, but we are more focusing on the individual investor, which will be available out there.
I know, but you have the Hero Group, right? Why don't you approach them?
Actually, I write out to sir also regarding that over the mail. So hopefully I'll get a positive response on that.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team Ego. Jury, I would request you to let us know when we are ready to call in the next team.
I'm ready.
Manish sir, Amit sir, are we ready?
Sorry, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Same here, ready.
The next team that will be presenting their pitch is Happy Minds. I request the team to turn on their camera and share their screen if they wish to do so. Over to you, Happy Minds. Your time starts now.
Every hour, one student commits suicide in our country. Every single hour. To address this, the government has made it mandatory for colleges to provide counseling services to their students. There are more than 50,000 colleges in India catering to 37 million students, of which 14 million face mental health issues. To be honest, I really didn't care about any of these numbers until 17th March 2020, the day when one of my batchmates attempted suicide. Fortunately, he was saved, but that event frightened and shattered us to the core. Subsequently, we interviewed 20 psychologists and 100 users to understand the problem in depth. Shreya, a sophomore student, told us that the therapist appointed by her university wasn't available when she needed counseling. Moreover, she feared that her friends would judge her if they saw her knocking on the therapist's door. She left after taking 2 or 3 therapy sessions because of being unable to monitor her therapy journey. Using Happy Minds mobile app, Shreya can anonymously connect with therapists via chat, audio, and video call and monitor her therapy journey. All data is encrypted using industry standards. After interviewing Shreya, we presented our MVP at a global hackathon in which we won $6,000. Post that, we did a private beta testing in June and presented a refined MVP in a national level hackathon by the Indian government. We launched our Android app in August as a CRM product. 34 therapists have signed up till now. More than 100 consultations have been done, and we have a strong community of 1,600 followers on Instagram. Our goal is to cater to 1,000 universities. This translates to a revenue potential of 7.9 billion rupees. We charge a monthly subscription fee of 80,000 to each university. In return, all students of that university can use all services of our mobile app. Based on the 10 universities that we had reached out to, they are currently spending this much amount on a monthly basis. Having in-house therapists is quite expensive for universities and also limits the expertise for which they can provide counseling. Your Dost is one of our direct competitors, but it is too difficult to use and does not provide any tracking capabilities. Using Happy Minds, Shreya can browse through a therapist's profile and book a session in just 3 clicks. She can maintain journals, track her mood, homework tasks, and share physical and sleep data with her therapist. This data is unobtrusively measured using the sensors already present in any smartphone. Our proprietary AI algorithm also assists the therapist in real-time diagnosis of the user. So if Shreya is on a voice call with the user, it would essentially understand how energetically is she speaking, at what rate is she speaking, and accordingly predict her emotion. We also aim to publish a university-wide report so that universities would be able to identify how they rank based on the mental health status of the students. This would not only be beneficial to universities, prospective students and parents, but also to companies who hire from different campuses. We have incorporated mitigation measures based on the risks that have been identified in the past 1 year. We have a stringent process for onboarding of therapists, and every therapist needs to maintain sessions after each session. Also, during a consultation, if a user has some self-harm thoughts, the therapist can actually flag a user. On doing so, the user is connected to a suicide helpline where professionals are trained to handle such high critical situations. Our updated application would be deployed in the coming month. We aim to complete the beta testing of our health data within the next 3 months and partner with IIT BHU as a first institution customer for the upcoming academic year. Formalities of the same are currently under process. We also aim to partner with 3 other IIT campuses by the end of next year. Since we are students of IIT BHU, hence we are starting with the IIT network because that would relatively be easier for us. And right now, we have also partnered with an NGO and IIT BHU alumni-led COVID Help Initiative to sponsor therapy sessions for COVID-affected families. The money that we, if in case we win this competition, part of the money would be devoted to that cause. I'm Shashwat Agarwal, the founder of Happy Minds. My co-founder is Divyansh Kumar, whom I have known closely since the past 4 years. We were in the freshman year together.
1 minute left.
Shishir Gaur is a professor and heads the counseling services at IIT Varanasi. He has been mentoring us. The prize money that we have won through the competitions last year, we have used it for incorporation of our company, product development, legal consultancy, and paying stipend to the interns that we onboard. The reason why users love us is because of the tracking capabilities and because of the active checking up by therapists. So if Shreya schedules a session with a therapist, 5 days after the session, the therapist would send her a message. Hi Shreya, I just wanted to check up on you. How have you been doing? And Shreya is prompted to book her next session, thereby reducing the therapy dropout rate. Thank you for listening to our story. We invite you in our journey to reduce the 484 suicides happening in our country every single day. Thanks a lot.
Couple of questions. One, you said you charge 80,000 per university. Shouldn't that be dependent on the number of students enrolled in the university?
Absolutely, sir.
And,
so this, sorry.
And what is your profitability on this?
Yes, sir. So 80,000, the number 80,000 is for 100 sessions per month. That is the number of average sessions that has been happening in the 5 universities that we were able to get the data of. And the profitability projection right now is 40,000.
So 80,000 for 100 sessions means 800 rupees a session. And how much are you paying the therapist?
So right now, therapists are paid around 5,000 to 7,000 per month. Each therapist, we hire them on a consultant basis. So let's say one consultant psychologist would be on our platform for 3 hours. And for that, they would be paid 7,000 rupees a month, irrespective whether they have a session at that time or not.
No. If you're getting 800 rupees per session per hour is what you're charging, how much are you paying the therapist per hour?
Yes, sir. So we are paying the therapist as a monthly remuneration amount of 7,000 rupees. That depends on the experience, but on average, it's 7,000 rupees a month, which the therapist is paid.
For how many hours?
So that's for 3 hours per day, so around 90 hours.
So you're paying them less than 100 rupees an hour.
Yes, sir. Right now, why that is the case is because so our break even is in after we reach 4 universities, and it might happen that in 3 hours the therapist might not get all the sessions because 100 is the number of sessions happening per month for each university. So
I understand. I don't see what quality therapist you're going to get at 7,000 rupees for
a month. Exactly.
And also you said that you can flag a user now. Isn't there a privacy issue then if somebody is flagging a user?
Yes, sir. So regarding the privacy issue, the confidentiality clause in therapy is broken when the therapist feels that the user might do self-harm to himself or to the environment. And in that case, the liability comes on the telehealth platform. So the updated telehealth guidelines that the government released last year in March, that specifies that we need to take appropriate action to save him. So that's what we are following. Yeah.
Well, I just don't think that you'll get any therapist for 7,000 rupees for 3 hours a day.
Okay.
I'd be very surprised.
So sir, right now, the 7,000 rupees it again depends on the experience of therapists. For example, your toast is right now paying 6,000 rupees per month to therapists that have 1 year of experience. And right now in the slide, you might see 15,000. That's the maximum upper limit we can pay for therapists who are more experienced. This really varies because a therapist having 1 year of experience would be paid relatively lesser than a therapist having 10 years of experience. So that sort of varies depending on the therapist that we hire. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So how many therapists do you have onboarded right now?
So right now we have 34 therapists onboarded.
And all of them you are paying in the region of 7,000 to 15,000? How is it?
So right now we don't have any B2B customers. So as you can see in this slide, in August we had launched it more as a SaaS product for therapists, as a practice management tool. But then we realized that financially, realized it the hard way, that financially it would be more feasible for us if we target the B2B segment. And that would be the first business customer that we would onboard next month. Hopefully.
How much are you charging? How much were you charging the guys, and what was the value prop to the therapists?
So for like in the B2B segment you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the therapist, sir, what we understood is that the main bottleneck the therapist faces is getting new clients. So they are not able to get the new clients directly. So what our value proposition is that we get new clients from them. Apart from that, once we have got new clients from them, they can use the same app as a practice management tool for their existing clients.
So how much were you charging the therapist?
For the CRM product, for the practice management,
yeah.
900 rupees a month.
Sorry?
900 rupees a month.
Okay.
And in that, sir, all of the features were included. But that again, there was a subscription-based tiering based on the number of sessions that the therapist had, because our variable of cost depends on the number of sessions. So up to 25 sessions, it was 999 per month.
Okay. So how much was the revenue as of March? What did you?
Right now, the 100 consultations that have been done, that is our revenue. But we haven't launched the app publicly yet. It was more of a closed group kind of a therapist that was using it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the app that you see right now over here, that's the app that has been deployed on the right side. So the client app was also similar. The updated version based on all the feedback that we have received, that would be deployed in the first week of May.
You didn't talk about any competition in your pitch.
So we did talk about some competition. So Your Dost is one of our direct competitors that actually targets universities on the more side. Other competitors do include Visa, InnerR, MindPeers, and Peco Live. Visa is concentrating more towards self-help aspect, and same goes with InnerR. And InnerR is based on what we got to know after listening to Amit Malik, is that InnerR is focusing more on an omni-channel model, and they are trying to establish themselves in the B2C market. And MindPeers is a B2B player. It is a recent startup, but it is targeting the corporates as of now. So that's why what direct competitors in the university side is Your Dost, and that is what we are positioning ourselves into.
Okay.
So there are a couple of things. Like one is the self-care aspect. We are more on the connecting the user with the therapist and the efficiency of the therapy and accessibility to therapy. We are in that phase. Visa, InnerR, these are more in the self-help aspects where you can listen to music of anxiety, or if you're having anxiety, you can listen to music, just like Calm, Headspace, and other apps.
Okay.
Okay.
So one question: who is the person in the team who is technically qualified to give these inputs typically?
So Divyansh is the person in the team who has been leading the app, who's been leading the tech team. Apart from this, the rest of the team members are interns that we have been hiring.
No, I'm talking about more from the subject matter expert.
Sir, it's more of Divyansh leads the technical implementation part, and any help that we need right now related to technology is related to the alumni that we seek help from.
No, not the technology. From the psychotherapist side, who is a subject matter expert?
Okay. Psychotherapist side, we have Miss Ruchika Jain. She's a counseling psychologist, and Miss Hemlata, who is also based in Mumbai, and she is a practicing psychologist for 10 years. So they have been guiding us.
There's nobody full time on on the team that is there?
No, sir. In the next few months, what we aim to hire is that we aim to onboard a chief psychology officer and a chief financial officer. That's in our mind plan. But currently, we haven't hired anyone in the full-time basis because right now we don't have a one institution customer as of now. So it would make sense for us only to hire when we have one business customer, what we are aiming for.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you so much, team Happy Minds. Jury, I would request you to let us know when we are ready to call in the next team.
Oh, I'm ready.
So, Manish, sir, are we ready?
I'm ready.
Manish, sir, do you want the next team?
Yep.
Right, thank you. The third team that will be presenting that it is Trans Creations. I would request team to
Yeah. All right, thank you. We're starting. Transgenders are deprived of the right to participate in any form of economic activity in the country, with even the qualified ones being refused jobs. While the visibility of transgender people is increasing in popular culture and daily life, they still face severe discrimination, stigma, and systemic inequality. Aiming to end this stigma and expand employment opportunities, we started our journey called Trans Creations. We conducted multiple need assessment surveys and identified that the majority of the individuals had interest in the beauty and personal care sector. Our revenue started in 2018 when we set up our first parlor in association with Basera NGO. Since then, there was no stopping. Over the last 3 years, we have set up 4 parlors, which are entirely run and operated by the transgenders and have generated a customer base of more than 1,500 people. After the pandemic seized our operations, we started ideating in the month of March in 2020. After extensive research and development, we finally released our own range of sustainable products, including soaps and shampoos in 2021. Our massage creams and scrubs are currently in the R&D stage and we'll be launching them soon. These products not only helped us increase our revenues, but also allowed us to cut down on our operational costs in the parlors by 27 to 28%. Since we have a customer base of 1,500, the product range will allow us to best utilize this customer base.
About the parlors, we partnered with an NGO to not only cut down on costs such as rent and electricity, but also to provide our beneficiaries with a protective environment. We identified our entrepreneurs, we provided them with training and skills, and that is how we were able to set up our first parlor with a mere cost of 70,000 rupees. After that, all the parlors were set up from the profits that we earned from the previous parlors. This is the breakup of entire 70,000 rupees. Now, since we partnered with an NGO, 30% of our profit goes to them.
We have set up 4 parlors, created 12 entrepreneurs, imparted entrepreneurial skills to 35 individuals, generated a revenue of rupees 20 lakhs, and educated 6,700 individuals on gender neutral language. About our market segment, the majority of our customer base are the local residents. But since the parlor is Instagrammable, a chunk of our customer base also includes college students, social media influencers, and queer sense. We have set up 4 parlors in association with Basera, Mitra Trust, Shape India, and Arohan NGO in several locations in Delhi NCR. Through our revenue, we fulfill SDGs 8, 10, and 12.
Now, talking about the revenue streams, the first parlor that we set up was earning somewhere around 50 to 60,000 every month in 2019. The second parlor that we set up in association with Mitra Trust started a little slow with about 35 to 40,000 every month, but then it picked up pace with extensive marketing. The third parlor was a greatest success that started runaway with 85,000 from the first month. In 2019, we had a total revenue of little over 20 lakhs with profit being little less than 10 lakhs. In 2020, the ship was sailing smooth. But the pandemic halted our operations, and therefore we were only able to generate a revenue of less than 10 lakhs with the loss of 20,000 rupees. That too after we accepted to the new normal condition and launched our Salon at Home initiative, where we provided at-home services. But we stand tall. In 2021, we launched another. In 2021, we launched a fourth parlor, and we are looking at the revenue a little less than 50 lakhs with profit being a little more than 25 lakhs. Now, talking about our future avenues. First, we will be launching a virtual platform by the name of Transit.life that would create a network of multiple members across the nation to access job listings from gender inclusive corporates. Apart from that, having interacted with many trans persons over the year, we have realized that they lack the basic skill to get a job or even to have their own entrepreneurial venture. Therefore, we aim to set up a center for entrepreneurship in Lucknow to provide them with the required skill to not only get job, but also to set up their own entrepreneurial venture. Also, one thing that is in research and development is after launching the 4 parlors and having them successful, we are looking forward towards a franchisee model where we will enable the trans person to be his own entrepreneur. Thank you.
I request the jury to start with the question and answer session.
So what is your revenue stream apart from the parlors? Is the Center for Entrepreneurship for profit, or is it a social initiative?
Actually, sir, both. Center for Entrepreneurship is right now, we are thinking about it. So most probably it will be profitable. We will be charging a subscription fee from the people who want to learn the skills. And also they can choose another option. And this is all in our head right now. We have not implemented. Also, we were thinking about taking a stake in their business if they wish to launch their own entrepreneurial venture.
So can the transgender people have enough money to pay? Have you checked how much you'll charge and whether they can afford to pay for the course that they'll be doing?
Yes, sir. About that, we were only looking forward to charge somewhere between 100 to 500 per month. And that too because so that they take it seriously, because anything for free, the skills imparted for free are not much valued. And that was our whole idea about that.
At 100 to 500 rupees a month, how will you be profitable?
Because we look forward to have a large chunk of transgenders people whom we will impart skill so that the overall revenue stream will benefit us somehow. This is all in ideation, sir, right now.
So right now you're running the parlor, and when are you planning to come up with this app for recruitment?
I'm sorry, sir.
You talked about it, that Transit Lite, that app which will help for recruitment, right? A virtual app.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So have you already launched that?
Yeah, so we are currently working on the app. We are looking forward to launch it by the end of the year. What we were planning was to somehow link both these enterprises together so that the people who are already paying for the fee for Center for Entrepreneurship can access the app and get the job from there only.
Why are you trying to do so many things simultaneously? Why don't you concentrate on one thing?
So we are right now focused on parlor only. Since we are having a constant stream of revenue from the parlors, we were looking forward to expand. And that was the whole idea behind these ideations.
Yes, but just stick to the parlor. Why do you want to get into Center for Entrepreneurship and to an app also for recruitment?
Right. So the problem that so we did do certain need assessment surveys where we found out that they are interested in beauty and personal care sector. However, there are also more transgenders who have varied interests. So we cannot limit, if we're trying to do something for the transgenders, we cannot limit it just to the beauty and personal care sector. So we thought that if there are more people who have more skills which need to be sharpened, so this place, Center for Entrepreneurship, will be the place where they will be where we will get these skills imparted so that they can look beyond just the parlors.
No, I get that. I just don't see that you'll ever make any money from the Center for Entrepreneurship, honestly.
Sir, for that, honestly, this is an ideation, and the idea behind this was the noble cause. So even if we do not make money, we just break even, we would be happy with that because we are having enough revenues from the parlor, and hopefully we can have more from the franchisee model.
No, it's a great initiative. There's no question about that. But I mean, it has to be a for-profit venture, right?
Yes, I get it, sir. But I think, and that is all our research tells us, that it will be profitable somehow. However, the profit may be limited, but I look forward to it being profitable.
Anyway, let's
instead of us. So my thoughts actually mirror what Ajay was saying. The parlor is moving well. As an added offering, you can help them find some jobs. Okay, that would be very lucrative because you can monetize that segment, and that's being done across the board. I'm like, in the normal world also, it's being done. And herein you could make impact as well as monetize it. But Center for Entrepreneurship is something which will be as good as all the because yes, I mean, you would have it is too many moving pieces. Number one, and number two, for that to monetize, it'll take not many more years. It's like you are holding equity into them, then you wait out for 5 years, 6 years, then someone buys that out. The way VC models work typically, that's how it will work on the Center for Entrepreneurship side. I think Ajay would agree on that part.
Absolutely.
Actually, just to tell you our approach on that, we went out about that job model only so that we can provide them job. That is why Transit.life came into being. But then we realized they do not have enough skills. So there was the problem from demand side. And we thought, can we somehow provide them the skills? That's how Center for Entrepreneurship came into being. And I really look forward to it being profitable somehow. However, this is an ideation. I will for sure take your ideas into that.
Well, you could always approach companies with whichever CSR budget or something. So you can try to do it, but that will become more of a social initiative than a for-profit venture, as I said.
Right. And you could also take help from the skill development centers, You could say direct these people to say skill development centers. And once they're trained over there, then they can be placed or something like that. And you can have a far better equation with the skill development people. Rather than you trying to recreate the wheel, because that is already over there, right? Skills are already being taught over there. Why reinvent the wheel?
For sure, sir. I mean, these are the ideas we will be having discussion today only, and I think we can look into that.
Judy, have you finished with the question and answer session?
Well, just not a question, but a suggestion. If you're looking at parlors, you can also look at helping them set up small businesses, which you can give them, back-end support on so that they can become profitable. So you start with parlors, but doesn't mean you have to stop at parlors, right? You can expand to other businesses also.
Of course, sir. I mean, right now we are looking at franchisee model. If it becomes successful somehow, if our research, allows that for that, we will for sure be looking into other businesses as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, team Trans Creations.
Thank you.
Judy, I would request you to kindly let us know when we are ready to call in the next team.
I'm ready.
So am I.
All right. Manish sir, are we ready? Can you call in the next team?
Yeah.
All right.
Good to
Thank you,
go.
sir. Lastly, we have team Notbot presenting their pitch. I request the team to switch on your camera, and if you'd like to share your screen, please do so. Your time starts now.
Are you on mute?
I believe so, sir.
Yes, I was wondering because I couldn't hear anything. I was going.
Team Notbot, are you on mute?
Yeah, hi, sorry. So I was on mute.
You can
Not
start
what we make custom WhatsApp solutions for businesses. Let me start with my introduction. I'm Abhishek Kumar. I'm director at Surya Services Private Limited. Initially, I managed Yardoo and now I manage Notbot. I have received special recognition for Yardoo from Times of India. I graduated from BML Munjal University for mechanical stream in 2019. Yardoo is an online automobile service aggregator platform. We received various awards and recognitions for it from Startup India, DIP, iStart by Rajasthan government, Chhattisgarh government, Times of India, Digital Cloud, AWS, etc. So we all know that WhatsApp is used in our day-to-day life, and some of these institutions are now trying to inculcate it in their business model. These medical institutions, educational institutions, real estate, e-commerce, cloud kitchen, courier services, hyperlocal delivery businesses, government office, fintechs, etc. What is the opportunity here? The opportunity is that these many people, these many institutions want to use WhatsApp, but they don't have a single platform that provides custom WhatsApp solutions related to their services. Let me elaborate the problems. We already have no-code platforms, but those are not easy to use and are not completely no-code. There are very few platforms which make custom WhatsApp solutions for these businesses. The current solution providers which do these things are very expensive. And small businesses who can't afford these very expensive bot creators are losing customers because of lack of custom solutions. What is the solution? A one-step platform that provides custom WhatsApp solutions for any businesses. That is Notbot. What will Notbot have? It will have pre-made templates. For example, you are an e-commerce business. We will have a pre-made template for an e-commerce. Then you come to us and said that, yeah, I sell bikes. Then we will use these templates and make a custom solution so that it is set for selling bikes. If you come to us and say that I sell slippers, again we will use these templates, but we will make a custom solution for selling slippers. So using these pre-made templates, we will make custom solutions for your businesses. We will have the list of all the API providers that a business needs to get these custom solutions for yourself. They can choose any provider and they can tell us like which one they want to use. Then we will have business tools for sending mass communications, mass messages, transactions, alerts, and everything they can do on WhatsApp. Then we will have plugins for Shopify, WooCommerce, WordPress sites for every other site, so that the inculcation of the WhatsApp in their business becomes seamless. All these will be plug and play. And so comparing to our Notbot to no-code bot builders, they are Zoom cars. They just provide you car and it is up to you how you drive those. But Notbot, we will be the Uber. We will provide you the driver. We will make the custom solutions for you. These will be the four main sources of our revenue. Number one, we take initial setup fee, which ranges between 10 to 50K. Then per month, we take 2 to 10K for their maintenance. If the customer wants to upgrade their bot, they want to add new features, they pay upgrade charges. And finally, all these solutions are made upon using some paid APIs, so we get a referral earning from them also. Currently, we are using a zero loss strategy where we are making these templates and features only when a client pays for it. These are the three features we made currently only after the clients paid for these things. These are our current clients. Most of them are Indian. Rive Technologies is from Hong Kong. Sobi Agriculture is from Pakistan, and we have 2 other customers from Israel also. These are our current money charts, we can say. We started in September, and now in April we earned 69,000 rupees by spending only 10,000 rupees, and we have a forecast of earning around 1,65,000 in May 21 by spending only 20,000 rupees. As a mentor, I have Karan Kapoor. He is the founder of Sherpa's Technology. It was my third client, and now he is heading he's helping me to get new customers and also helps me whenever I get some technical stuff and all. That's all from my side. I'm open to questions.
Can you speak about your competition?
As I said, sir, all no-code platforms are our competitors.
So what is your niche, or what is your USP that makes you
as
choose?
USP is that we will be making custom solutions. These no-code platforms, these are not that easy to use. Let me show you again. These are not that easy to use. Even if, for example, you are a business owner, you want to have a WhatsApp bot, say, you go to these no-code platforms, you can make initial bot, 2-3 steps, and after that, you will need the help of an expert. We are that expert. We are providing that custom solution for you.
Yeah, but there are other experts in the world, right? Not just you.
So if you go to Google and currently search, these are current solution provider. They are very expensive. We are trying to bring it to small businesses by reducing this cost.
And how are you reducing the cost?
So we will have pre-made templates. For example, we have a ready-made template for an e-commerce, as I told in my example.
No, I understand that,
so
but you're not doing anything. No, I understand what you're saying, but you're not doing anything that somebody else can't do, right? I don't understand what your secret sauce is, so to speak.
We will be the one-stop solution for WhatsApp. Everything you need about WhatsApp, any expert, we will be that expert.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let somebody else ask.
How is the pricing? How are
pricing? The pricing ranges between, first we initial charge a setup fee. It ranges between 10,000 to 50,000, and then after that for maintenance we take 2,000 to 10,000 per month.
Okay. Now that is for a single solution. You are charging 10 to 50K. That is what you are saying.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And how are you planning to scale the business?
So for scaling, let me tell you first, I forgot to mention, all these sales are currently purely organic. I am thinking of running ads on Facebook groups and LinkedIn specifically, because all the small people, these customers I got from Facebook groups. So I am planning to run ads on Facebook, and after that on LinkedIn also. Then after that, after I told you, like, we are making these features templates, and we are stacking it to make our full-fledged platform. After that platform is ready, we will place ads on everywhere, Google, Facebook, and all. But this will take time, so it's still a long shot.
Hmm. And what is your revenue outlook 3 years from now?
3 years from now, after our platform is completely ready, I am looking around to have not much, just 1,000 customers who pay around $9 to $10 per month. That is something I'm looking at.
This revenue that you're talking about, May 21, $165,000, is in dollars only, right?
No, sir. This is an INR.
It's rupees.
Rupees.
1,65,000.
Yes, sir.
That is in May 21, and that's what I'm asking. So, say
it's a forecast.
1 year from now, how much will that be?
Okay, 1 year from now, sir, we are looking around 2 to 2.5 lakh rupees per month. Not more than that.
1 year from now, you're looking at 2 to 2.5 lakh. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much on that.
Any other questions?
Tell me something about the team. Just take me.
Currently, I am the only founder, and with me I have an intern to whom I pay this. If you can see the 10,000 sum, that is paid to my intern.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Notbot. I would like to thank the teams for the wonderful pitch session of your ventures. The teams were so good, which now leaves the jury with their hands full. I request the jury to join a session to deliberate on the result. Thank you, jury.
Thank you, Devyani. I think we'll now log off from here.
Accounting taking up too much time? Facing constant back and forth with your accountant? Or worse, are you your own accountant? Meet Slate.ac, the new age accounting service for SMEs, blending human expertise with technology to manage your finances. Struggling with accounting? Just outsource it to Slate. Have your own accounting team. We empower you and them with greater visibility and insights. Slate works with growth-oriented companies to provide them an online interface for cash flow management, invoicing, payments, etc. Insightful reports. Prices start from Rs 11.99 per month, helping you save over 90% of cost compared to hiring a full-time accountant. Onboarding is easy as we work with Tally, QuickBooks and Zoho. Want to know more? Register for a free demo at www.slate.ac/demo.
STEAM Incubator here at BCU is located on the ground floor of Millennium Point, and it's a facility to support students, graduates and local entrepreneurs to start, grow and then sustain the business. The uniqueness about the BCU Incubator is that it's part of the STEAM House programme, where people within the incubator can work on the business stuff and also use the prototyping facilities at Steam House based at Digbeth.
Here, not only have you got your desk, it's not a hot desk, it's your desk, but it's a facility. It's not just centre of Birmingham, which is a great place to have any sort of meeting, but it's your office and you can treat it like your own office.
Just coming into the hub, you're around people who have a common goal of making a difference and developing themselves as well, so it's great.
We've got a self-contained lecture theatre with state-of-the-art facilities for about 40 people. If you've just got a business idea and want to explore it further, please get in touch with us.
Handing it over to Ekta. Ekta, all yours.
Thank you, Divyani. Hope you all enjoyed the video. That was a little about our partners. After the amazing pitch session by our finalists, we'll be moving ahead, and I would like to invite our panel for the fireside conversation. The topic for the session is physical versus virtual incubation. Allow me to introduce you to the panel. Our first panelist is Mr. Kapil Gaba. He is the senior advisor of the One Valley. Sir has over 16 years of entrepreneurial experience in launching and managing product and institutional brands. Sir's primary engagements have been in brand building, communication management, community engagement, education sales, business strategy and advisory, creating and executing large-scale marketing campaigns, and working closely with technology teams to develop new solutions to streamline workflow. Our second panelist, Mr. Rajiv Gulati. Sir has served more than 35 years with central government, state government, and medical diagnostic imaging industry in India. Sir has built sustainable models to facilitate innovators in Haryana state with industrial and academic involvement. He has been coordinating and implementing ecosystem for incubation facilities of UN Technology Innovation Labs, while also accelerating sustainable development goals, missions through technology and youth inclusion. The discussion will be moderated by Professor Dr. Vishal Tarwar, Dean, SOM, Director, Institute of Innovation Entrepreneurship. He has worked as faculty in leading universities and business schools such as the London School of Economics and the Henley Business School, University of Reading. Dr. Talwar has published in leading journals such as the Journal of Business Ethics. Sir, I would request you to please address the gathering.
Thank you very much, Ekta, and thanks so much for the great organization so far. Wonderful 2 days. So thanks for that. Hi, Kapil. Hi, Mr. Rajiv Bhatti. How are you? Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm sure it's a tough time, at the moment, challenging, and I'm sure everyone knows someone, close or far, who's affected. But thanks so much to you as well as everybody here today to be able to participate. I think this is going to be an interesting discussion simply because of the fact that this is one area which we as a university are quite confident about. We have our own incubator, and we would obviously like to use that to be able to contribute to the entrepreneurial ecosystem as we go forward. But obviously, there's a lot of change that has happened. The last I looked, there were more than many thousands of incubators all over the world. Incubators started sometime in the 1950s, and I'm sure now there would be 40, 50,000 incubators all over the world. But obviously for the last few years, and because of which there's been a lot of transition, a lot of change, a lot of changes in terms of how this incubation's happening. And especially with COVID, I would imagine this whole change from, let's say, a physical incubation to more virtual incubation may have got speeded up. So that's essentially an hypothesis. I'm sure both you as experts today over this fireside chat would be able to tell us a little bit about your experiences. Are you seeing a transition? Is it because of COVID, or is it because there's a natural advantage to having access to a more virtual incubation setup? But that's the kind of discussion that we would love to have. I would imagine all the people joining us here today would love to learn from your insight and your experience. So maybe my first question, maybe to Rajiv ji. Rajiv ji, welcome. What do you think is your experience in, you have worked as part of the UN, you have worked as part of the Haryana state government and many other organizations, and you actually set up startup incubators. What's your experience been so far in the incubation space in the Indian context?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Vishal, and good evening, Kapil, and everybody who's present over here. It's great that the institution is taking such an initiative where a couple of good things are happening in such an what you call a scenario where everybody is tense, but you are keeping them active through the positive side. Good luck, and thanks for even me to including at this moment. Now, talking about my experiences and what you call with the incubators, with the accelerators and the ecosystem. The interesting part was like what we thought with the government of Haryana long way back in 91 onwards, that when the students, they come out, they have got a lot of energy to do something. They have got innovative ideas, but there is no place to do that. So if you just recollect, in Gurgaon itself, there is an electronic city developed way back in 91. If you look at in a broader model, there was like a flatted factory complex in that, which was in a plug and play space meant for at that time for the young entrepreneurs, so-called entrepreneurs at that time. And there was some independent shares where some groomed SMEs were supposed to come over there. And there was some independent, what you call the spaces which were provided to companies like Hughes, Ericsson, Alcatel. Now you look into this whole community which was created over there. Because incubator, the name, though it existed long back through the DST, I mean, there are a lot many initiatives taken over there. But the interesting part was when they come together as in a community, the big companies, the SMEs, and the students, where an plug and play facility will be there, they will groom in that community, they will interact in that community, and some good things will come when the facilities were provided at a nominal prices, even to the plug and play young people. They don't have to waste their time while building their own infrastructure. So that was the first experiment we done. It was very successful, which in fact, I say it was a big bang in technology in Gurgaon at that time. And most of the technology which happened in Gurgaon was through that nucleus only. Now, after that, when this scenario came under Digital India mission, the skilling, the startup, and how to collaborate and how to bring the states on this platform, the unique model was that instead of touching the individual, what you call the industries, which are the real mentors and the people who can mentor or who can practically understand the innovations for practical use, instead of tapping the individual industries, we tapped the associations like NESCOM, Internet and Mobile Association of India, and we asked them to work together at a government provided facilities as per their requirement. So a whole hub started working over here, where like the startups started being incubated over there, and those were linked at different levels. When you talk about any innovation is helpless, I can say, if it is not hand-holded to make it practically used for the society and where the customer can own it. And most of the challenges at the grassroots, we brought the what you call the CSCs, village level entrepreneurs over there. And then at the top level to expose them, we tried with the UN to expose them the cross borders. Now this whole community, which as of now you call a matured innovators, which have got this, I say, the same throbbing and resonance mind in innovation, started talking to each other within that also. So this is the experiment which has been done. And in UN Technology Innovation Lab, the interesting part was, which you are now talking about, the virtual incubations and virtual connect, all those things. UN thought there's being a neutral organization, there are a lot of things which are happening, which is technology driven only. So why not to start joining the dots as in a neutral agency and start exposing the innovations and don't reinvent the things when some experiment which has been taken over India can be utilized in Egypt, and whatever is done in Finland can be utilized in India. So they opened 4 labs, one Finland, Egypt, Malaysia, and the 4th was in India. So over there, they were like in a knowledge exchange, and then the real exchange of those products and services which these countries can use. Under then they choose a typical thematic under which they have to work, and then help the local ecosystem to align and then expand across the borders. And from this platform, I will love to say that very good experiments were done over there. And one of the major experiments I will talk was the use of blockchain for the land registry for Afghanistan. So nobody has ever thought of how the Indian lab is talking about the Afghanistan, that too on a land registry. When we were talking about the state, experiment with over there, there was a lot of challenge. But those things with collaboration, with some good ethics, and then joining them with the SDGs. So that is the scenario, the experiment. There were a lot many challenges of bringing the association together and then convincing them to work together because they have got their own, their own visions and missions only. But our mission was collectively, we should create a community within a state which can create a broader impact. So that was some sort of that, and we'll in due course of we'll exchange our more ideas.
Perfect. No, so I think obviously what that means is that the access to technology, the ability to transfer knowledge, creating an equilibrium of knowledge and research across the world has been facilitated by a lot of virtual processes. So Kapil, what's your experience been so far with virtual incubation, and especially in the context of One Valley, which is obviously trying to set up this global innovation hub? So tell us a little bit about your experience.
All right, namaste everyone, and thanks Dr. Talwar for this question. Thanks for having me here, first of all. And let me start by reinforcing your thought. I mean, difficult times, next 4 to 6 weeks will be difficult. And it's our responsibility to lock ourselves down and everybody that we know around. I think if we just see these 4 to 6 weeks through, that's a social responsibility that we have. We'll be much better placed. So with that, let me just give you a quick background to One Valley and our journey till the date to tell you where we are right now. So we actually started off as a physical accelerator back in 2012, and we were called GSV Labs. We were incubated by the GSV Group, which is one of the largest investment groups based out of the Silicon Valley. And 2012, we started a physical accelerator. We had 2 locations, one in Boston and another one in St. Matthew. That's where the headquarters is. And that's how we continued until 2017-18. We didn't really need COVID to realize that digital is the way forward. And in 2018, we pivoted with this product called One Valley Passport. And the genesis of this entire product was One Valley wanted to scale up very ambitiously. Like I said, it was GSV Labs at that time. So GSV Labs wanted to scale up very ambitiously. So we were like, in physical setup, there are limitations to how many startups can you support. In our digital ecosystem, you can multiply that to any number that you want. That's one. Second, physical ecosystems are investment heavy. So we said, instead of setting up 50 virtual innovation ecosystems, and these ecosystems keep moving. And right now, if you look at the COVID times over the last year, all the founders were in Kochi or Goa or Dharamsala, and these became workations plus what you call startup hubs, temporary startup hubs. These ecosystems keep moving, and then you are stuck with the real estate. So we said, and third thing was when we reached out to the community that we had, GSV Labs had at that point of time in terms of the startups that we had on the platform, within the community, they said real estate is commoditized. Anybody can offer real estate now. But the real value is what came through the GSV Labs consortium. And what was that? What were those services or the benefits? I'll just enumerate in one go. So one, we said as a large community, we started reaching out to all these vendors, startup services vendors, Amazon, Google, Oracle, HubSpot, Canva. We have about 170 of these partners. And as a consortium, when we reached out to these guys, we got significant discounts. I mean, we got discounts ranging from 20 to 70%. HubSpot at one point of time was giving 90% discount to GSV community. Yeah, so we managed to discount huge discounts. We managed to get a lot of key influencers and mentors on board. We got a huge network of investors, angel and seed investors on board. We have almost 450 on the platform right now. Then we started connecting all these community members, global community members with each other. If you notice right now, we have more than 46,000 active community members on the platform. And then you can connect with a startup in Tel Aviv, startup in Silicon Valley, startup in Nigeria, build your consortium and kind of use this network to sell your products, to find a partner, to collaborate, to pick up their products and build an Indian variant. So those things. So this was actually the strength of the GSV Labs ecosystem in the US at that point of time. And when these community members told us that this is the real value, the services, we said it's very easy for us to make a digital platform and put these services. And the question I was telling Mr. Gulati yesterday while we were chatting, the single sentence that we had in our mind was, how do we get the best of the Silicon Valley or the global resources to a startup founder in fourth year engineering college sitting in Bhopal? So there was a single sentence problem that we were trying to solve. How do we enable a fourth year engineering student sitting in Bhopal burning the midnight oil or burning the electricity on his computer at 2 o'clock? How do we get him the best of the global and Silicon Valley resources? So that's where this One Valley Passport came around. So 2018 is when we started. And it took us about a year to stabilize the product. It's now a very rich platform, and quick stats are right here. I mean, we have 450 odd investors on the platform. We have 180 mentors on the platform. We have 46,000 startups from across the world. We have perks and discounts right from all these partners. I mean, Amazon, $10,000 credits. Microsoft Azure, $120,000 worth of credits. So put together, we almost offer $1 million worth of credits and discounts to the startup members on the platform. So that's the value that we bring. Now, what happened during COVID, and that's the essence of the debate here, is the physical centers that we had, one in San Mateo and one in Boston. Boston, we had to shut down because it became unviable. The rentals could not be renegotiated, and then we had to shut that down. But the interesting thing was, since we had the One Valley Passport online, we lost out on the physical asset revenue, but all our members continued on the digital platform. So that revenue did not get impacted. San Mateo, we managed to sustain because we could negotiate the rentals with the tenant. And then we are about to set up a city level virtual incubator. So now One Valley Passport is a virtual incubator, and we do private instances for that. So we are setting up a Pittsburgh City virtual incubator where every single startup activity which happens in the city of Pittsburgh, right from the government to startups to facilitators and ecosystem members, everybody will be on this digital platform. Perks redemption is on the platform. All your meetings are on the platform. Zoom is integrated. So it's literally become a completely functional, zero leakage version of what you would get in a physical platform. Not to say there is no value in the human warmth that you get. When the times were open until about 3 weeks ago, I used to go to WeWork just to see some human faces, even if I was the only person working there from my company. I just go for that human faces, human warmth, just to have 2 or 3 people to chat with over the water station. So not to discount that, but we are now in times where virtual is as significant and possibly more efficient and productive than a physical ecosystem. And going forward, these have to go hand in hand.
So I think it's great, but do you think there are any limitations of predominantly going virtual? Ajit, what do you think? Is there any? Yes, of course, there's a lot of transition, there's a lot of transformation, there's a lot of movement, but is there any disadvantage as well?
The lot of experiments has been done over here. You must have seen in the education also. There is some success rate also, but there is some debate also going along with that. I take an example over here. In 2015, when I was with the regulatory authority of technical education as in charge of the Northwest region, we were fighting a legal case where the distance education, engineering education was challenged in the court. So the major question over there was, do the engineer really need the labs, practical labs, to do the experiments, or can those be shifted at the distance mode? There was no virtual word at that time. So anyway, some good thing happened, which was like the distance mode, it was cancelled. So the same thing, when I recollect and then embed into that, I consider that there are a couple of good verticals under which the startups are working, which can very easily be shifted into a virtual mode, and they are enjoying it also. But When we opened a center of excellence in Internet of Things, which was North India's first and India's second at that time, with the help of Ministry of IT and NESCOM in Gurgaon itself. So the very first question was, I mean, what type of the tools, zigs, and those things are required by the startups which are not easily accessible to them at any other place. So there was a full-fledged debate on those, and those were brought into that. That was just before the COVID only. Now they started experimenting with those tools and zigs, which otherwise are either costly or are, to be very frank, lying in the academia only or research institutions, but not available at the common platform. So there was a balance out. Those startups which were working on those technologies which can be shifted on a virtual mate, they immediately got transferred over them. Though they face this trauma of what you call a human touch into that, for which you really have to mentor them through the what you call the mental strength, physical strength, and then the technology strengths. But for those people who were working on those tools, they faced a bit of problem. For example, a person who set in a total AI lab and their servers within that for what you call the for drone mapping and their drone data sets, they couldn't shift immediately over there. The people who are working on the 3D printers, on some laser cutting machines, some other tools on mechanical workshop, some other robotic experiment which they were overdoing, they couldn't. So they suffered a bit, but in due course of time, what we started looking into then, the hub and spoke model which we at that time created, that universities should be linked with this what you call this hub, and there should be a pipeline in due course of time. They should be prepared with those gadgets which are already lined, but they start utilizing them. And those people who belong to those areas, for example in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, we made a connect with them, that let these people, if they don't want to travel over there, if the institutions are going to open in due course of time, if they can utilize their facilities over there in those incubation, because you must be knowing in India, the major thrust, the incubators now at this moment, if I'm not mistaken, more than 90% are lying in the academia only. The accelerators and incubators, I mean, on the private sector, they are hardly about 60-67%, and the total is around 500 plus. The counting is there. So academia played a major role when they have been started utilizing. So there is a mix of it. Yes, the challenges made us to think how we can leverage the virtual technology, virtual mentorship, and what even Kapil said, that bringing those knowledge which we already experimented while sitting with the United Nations, their best of the knowledges on blockchain have been brought in India, and the Indian startups started utilizing it without meeting them. It was on virtual meetings only. And then the same thing happened during this virtual thing only. So yes, these challenges, they do have to balance it out, and some mentoring towards their mental sickness, I can say, is really required. Second challenge which they started now facing is the connect with the industry in a real formation, where the scalability of their things on marketable things and all those things can happen, which is still they are facing a lot of many problems, and they are looking for those solutions also.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I mean, I guess scale at the end of the day is the core point here, I guess. You know, the kind of access you get through virtual means, the kind of mentoring you get, the kind of knowledge, the kind of guidance, the kind of motivation that you can get at a global scale, obviously far in a way outweighs some of the limitations of particular industries, which I guess is a matter of time. Over a period of time, I'm sure those particular industries will also benefit a great deal. So do you think, Kapil, do you think this whole idea of certain hubs that exist, you know, Silicon Valley, and you know, you have a Silicon Roundabout, let's say in London, in the eastern part. So do you think their preeminence or essentially their advantage kind of may get diluted in the longer term with, you know, global innovation hubs such as these?
Very interesting question, and thanks for bringing this up. Like I said, we were called GSV Labs. GSV used to stand for Global Silicon Valley. Yeah, and the name would tell you something about it, right? we decided to change the name to One Valley last year. So on 1st October, we moved it to One Valley. And the primary thought is exactly what you said. The Silicon Valley is no longer the Mecca of entrepreneurship and innovation. And if you notice, a lot of investments which are happening are now getting democratized, are flowing to the African countries and the Asian countries, and the share of Silicon Valley investments is dropping. And I have the stats, and I can share them with you later in case you want. And we said Global Silicon Valley as a name does not really represent who we stand for. Now we stand for promoting entrepreneurship and innovation across the world. And that's where, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to explain this name change. The Global Silicon Valley became One Valley. And we said the world's innovation ecosystem. I mean, that's the tagline that we use. And now we are building resources which can help what you call entrepreneurs across the country, across the world rather. I joined in India and I have 3 more team members here. We are working from home for now. But we are bringing the Indian resources, Indian perks partners, Indian mentors, Indian investors on the platform. So we are now beginning to build a globalized version of the platform, which serves across the countries. Yeah, we have mentors from Japan, we have mentors from Africa and Europe, and name the places. So that's where things are. And if you ask me one thing, I mean, I was explaining this yesterday. So when I joined marketing about 17, 18 years ago, there was a very clear distinction between digital marketing and the traditional or conventional marketing. Now, when I see the JDs which say they require a digital marketing person, yeah, it's an oxymoron. I mean, every marketing is digital marketing practically. And even if there is a distinction between, okay, say social platforms or performance, they have to work seamlessly now. You can't really have silos anymore. Yeah, it's all part of the same bucket. Thanks to COVID, the acceleration in innovation has been such that the entire innovation ecosystem is one integrated unit. There are features which are more efficient in a virtual format. There are features which are more efficient in a physical format. For example, if you want to build a vehicle prototype, yeah, Ola creating electrical vehicles, they can't really sit across on Zoom calls and build vehicle prototypes. So that part has to happen in a physical environment with team members together. But when it comes to building an app to integrate all that all can be done in a virtual fashion and far more efficiently. I was talking to Mr. Gulati yesterday, and I was like, if I have to meet you for half an hour for any guidance about my startup, I don't need to spend 1 hour to come to you now, 30 minutes with you and 1 hour to come back to Gurgaon anymore. Yeah, I save those 2 hours just through a Zoom call and a quick request for a meeting, and we are done with that. So there are efficiencies that virtual ecosystems are building in, and then there are places where physical ecosystems will absolutely be essential. The only thing is there are more things which are more virtually enabled and more efficient in virtual environments than the physical environment. So that's the transition that we see going forward.
Great, thank you. I think what I'll do, maybe I'll ask the audience to ask their questions. If they have any particular questions, please, you have a Q&A box and you can type that in. We have about 7-8 minutes right now to be able to address any questions you have on incubation, or even other questions, that sometimes, and this is maybe something that you could possibly address. I'm sure the students here right now do at times get confused, what's incubation, what's acceleration, what could be the difference, what stages that come in. So maybe Rajiv ji, if you could tell us a little, I would imagine these are questions that sometimes you don't ask, but I would imagine it's in the mind.
I will share one small thing over here, which is a very interesting with the academia, to be very frank. I was having in such a type of webinar with somebody asked me, sir, you always say come out with a good idea, come out with something which can be accelerated over there, and how to convert into a business model and all those changes. Let us not talk about the incubator at this moment. But when you talk about the incubator, I have got only one thing, that our education system is as such a place. We really have to put ventilator to the education system. The incubator is losing its charm over there. So anyway, so the thing was, how to come out with an idea and how to come out. So this is one very interesting example, which one of my friends, who become a big businessman through a small electronic gadgets only, he used to build. He said, whenever we ask somebody to do something, there is always there is a linkage that I wanted to go office. It was raining, but I couldn't go. Okay, so this but made me to shift my thoughts and relax at home. I have to change but into and. There was raining. I want to go to and I want to go to office. Now, and will make me to look into the alternatives available. That means I have gotten a virtual umbrella in my thing. I can call in a taxi. I can take my raincoat. So this and will make you live, and there are n number of ideas started floating into it. And those ideas, one of those ideas will give you something to innovate around that. And then look into that innovation, which become a challenge for them and how to solve them. So this students, I mean, they always have those type of conflict in their mind at this education level, how to come out with an idea. That is one portion. And then when you came out with an idea, how to work with those communities. I always called them as in a playground for the innovators, as in a physical grounds, which we used to say. And they have to connect with those networks. Networks means your alumni network first, which is the closest part of with the institutions. So they always help you. I know there is some cord link with them, with those institutions. Then second is the closest incubators, who are really the closest accelerators. At this moment, they are willing at this virtual mode to spend some time with them, and so that their ideas can at that very first level can be tweaked, which they can really accelerate, or which they can really look into for a pre-incubation within the institutions. So these are some things, I mean, you don't shy. Use your nearest possible challenges, look nearest possible your customers. And one example also I give, whenever you got with an idea, discuss with your mom. We call it in a mom thought only. Because mom is the only, what you call the thing available closest to you, which can criticize you, which can pat you also. So share with them. You will come out whether you are going on the right track or not. So this is something on the lighter mode. I mean, how to experiment and how to come out with the thoughts.
Thank you. So, Kapil, one question that I had for you is how can One Valley, for example, help in this whole process that Rajiv was talking about? A lot many times it's about the idea. Many times it's about the execution. Many times it's about
Hi, Dr. Talwar. I think we're losing you.
Probably there is a electricity issue at his end.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
I
back.
think it's fine now. Yeah.
Hello.
Kapil, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. So my question, did you, maybe I'll repeat that. So how can One Valley help, in this whole process, the ideation, the execution, the mentoring, the guidance? Is there more active involvement over a period of time for a place like One Valley?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for this. And what I'll do is, David has a question here which says many students have been able to do well on their own. So why use incubators? Because they ask for equity. So let me kind of answer David's question also here along with yours. So essentially, of course, I mean, whatever you want to build, you can build on your own. I mean, when Facebook came around, I'm sure they did not really get the kind of support, and it was like just a private social experiment which blew up into whatever it is right now, out of the hostels. But now the deal is the world is far more competitive. The tools are practically available to every single person around you and far more cheaper. I mean, this is possibly the best time to be an entrepreneur in the world. The struggles are far lesser. The availability of knowledge, resources, mentorship, learning is far, far higher. Right? So you are limited only by the strength of your idea. If your idea is not unique, then by the ability to execute flawlessly and in a customer-centric fashion, and your ability or sincerity to your idea. These are the only things which are completely in your control, which can limit or propel you further. Yeah. So that's where we are. Now coming to an incubator, whether it's a physical incubator or a virtual incubator like One Valley, this is how the journey starts. So when you are toying with an idea, or even if you're a fresher who does not know anything about entrepreneurship, when you engage with this ecosystem, you get a lot of learning resources. For example, when I joined this ecosystem, and I was with universities and education for the last 17 years, 6 months ago when I joined One Valley, I had very little idea of what entrepreneurship meant beyond the definition of entrepreneurship. And then I dug into the learning resources, the articles, the videos, the pitch decks of big organizations. So I found the LinkedIn first pitch deck on the One Valley learning resources. And when I invested 2 or 3 months into that thing, and I was like far ahead of the learning curve. If I left on my own to find all those resources, I would have spent maybe 2 years or 3 years about all the curated resources I got at the platform itself. Once I'm comfortable with, okay, what entrepreneurship means, read articles about what the product should be like, read articles about what are investors looking for, how to go about prototyping, how to go about market viability, how to go about customer segmentation, customer, sizing and everything, white space mapping. When I get into a sense of all these ideas and concepts, that's when I would go and begin to talk to mentors to bounce off my idea. I would go to Dr. Talwar, I would go to Mr. Gulati, I would go to maybe Mr. Srivastava to kind of ask their suggestion on what do they think about the idea, and exactly the kind of advice that you've been getting from all these judges today. When all these startups pitch their decks, that's exactly the advice. You don't want to do that 6 months into the into your startup and having made all the mistakes, lost money, lost time. You would want to do that right in the first stage and get feedback on your concept. And where are you likely to make a mistake? Reach out to other startups in the network. Maybe a startup in Tel Aviv is 2 years ahead of you. And this entire world, startup ecosystem is all about collaboration. It's not about competition. Okay, competition has its own place at higher levels. But at the grassroots level, it's about collaboration. And no startup I've met so far has ever shied away from mentoring a younger startup or taking them under their wing. So connect with other startups, mentors, get advice. That will save you a lot of money and time. David, to answer your question, that will save you a lot of money and time that you would invest otherwise without the support. And then these incubators also, since they are a large community, also have the ability to aggregate a lot of resources and get you a lot of resources either for free or at huge discounts. If you go to Amazon or on your own, Amazon will probably give you $1,000 or $5,000 worth of credits. You come to a large community, they're able to kind of on cloud credits, they're able to negotiate thousands of dollars worth of credits, right? So then you save a lot of cost, save a lot of time, save a lot of effort in the entire process. And then when you want to kind of reach out to investors on your own, there's only so much you can do. These incubator networks have their own network of investors who are looking for startups to invest in. So that's the beauty of this entire ecosystem coming together to support each other in every single thing that you need in the early stages.
All right, thank you. So I think there's one very interesting question, and I think we'll have time for just one because we're running a little behind schedule. So that question is that we talked earlier about decentralization, the fact that there's Silicon Valley and there's preeminence, there's superiority. But do you think because of a lot of the incubation going virtual and global, do you think there's this decentralization will impact the quality and dilution of startups, or will it be the opposite?
So it will, if this question is addressed to me, it will definitely. But that's a function of anything that expands very, very rapidly. Yeah. Until 5 years ago, people, coming from university experience, I can tell you, if we had to place students in a startup, it was a hugely difficult bet. There were people who wanted a Dell or an HCL or one of these prominent Microsoft or an Adobe to come in and take them. They were not willing to look at a startup. Yeah, even an established startup, even Paytm, which is like a multi-billion-dollar company right now. People would not want to join a Paytm 5 years ago compared to others, right? That trend has changed. Now I am struggling, to find manpower, and all these people are all over the place, all over the startups. In fact, established companies will have a challenge. But the moment you have this rapid expansion in any area, you'll see that instead of say 5 startups on an average coming through, there are 100. Now that 5 may actually quality may translate to maybe 10 or 12, but beyond that there will be a stagger effect of what the quality of startups. So of course, but as long as the universe expands, as long as that 5 quality startup becomes 10 to 12, that's still a 200% expansion. And then you never know when the 90th ranked startup pivots the idea or hits a gold mine or hits a sweet spot where they actually become a unicorn, where they started off as a laggard. Last in the relay race, but in 5 years' time, they are ahead of the curve. So, the more the merrier. That's what I would suggest.
Absolutely. Thank you. Rajivji, your very quick remarks on the same question.
Yeah, I simply say into this that again, an example I always give, an experiment was done with the African Nation Rural Development Organization, 30 member countries with them, to bring the technology from their member countries and then showcase this to them. What I experimented with them, I took tier 3 and tier 2 innovators, which nobody was aware of them. I brought them. One was on the the housing for all, and there was on the water resources. So the cleaning of the water for all. Linked with SDGs, tweak them with those people, and then we created in a full-fledged platform where not only these two startups, but many others started selling to their member countries, has been accelerated, even physically showing them to them. So that means there is a strength lying scattered at different corners of in India. And then when we talk about this intergovernmental big organizations, they are even looking for Silicon Valley, they are looking for Egypt, they are looking for Malaysia, they are looking for India also. Now it is now up to us how to collect and place these innovations in a right manner, link them, and then showcase them.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all we have time for. Thank you so much, Kapilji. Thank you so much, Rajivji. It's been an absolute pleasure to listen to you. And I would imagine a lot of the students here will have further questions. I'm sure through the student body, they'll be able to reach out to you for any particular advice. So thanks so much. Thank you. Over to you, Ekta.
Thank you, sir. I thank all the panelists for sharing their views. I'm sure many benefited from the discussion. So thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us for a very long time and those who are joining the event right now. Today marks our second edition of Propel Pitchfest, and we are proud to be able to host it here virtually with all of you. On behalf of the organizing committee, I warmly welcome all the dignitaries present here. Today, we have with us Mr. Saurav Srivastava as our chief guest, Mr. Sunil Kant Munjal, Chancellor, BML Munjal University, Mr. Akshay Munjal, President, BML Munjal University, Dr. Manoj Arora, Vice Chancellor, BML Munjal University, Mrs. Swati Munjal, Director, BML Munjal University, Deans of all the departments, ladies and gentlemen, and the friends of the startup. We are thankful to you for being here to encourage your startups. We extend our gratitude to all our partners for being a part of Propel Pitchfest 21. Earlier in the day, we saw the final 8 teams competing for Indian Startup Service and Indian Startup Products. The jury has taken a call on the best 4 teams, and the results will be announced now. Proceeding with the same, I would like to invite Dr. Manoj Arora, Vice Chancellor, BML Munjal University. Dr. Arora has taught a number of courses in the field of geospatial technology in an academic career of over 34 years. He believes to utilize his vigor and vision in the development of academic establishment and leads any existing and new academic institution of excellence. Sir, I request you to address the audience.
Thank you, Ekta. Honorable Chief Guest Saurav Srivastava ji, Chancellor Shri Sunil Kant Munjal ji, President Akshay Munjal, experts on the panel, students, budding entrepreneurs, and my dear colleagues. Welcome to the final and concluding session of Propel Pitchfest 21. I'm sure that the last 2 days of Pitchfest would have been a fun as well as a lot of learning for you all. Yesterday, I talked about the importance of an entrepreneurial ecosystem and the activities and the achievements of our university in creating that ecosystem on the campus. Today, I'm going to touch upon the role of research. Today, I'm going to touch upon the role of research and development in strengthening that ecosystem. Let me start with a quote from President Barack Obama in 2012. He said, "We need to build a future in which our factories and workers are busy manufacturing the high-tech products that will define the century." Now, doing that starts with continuing investment in the basic science and engineering research and technology development, from which new products, new businesses, and even new industries are formed. Very true indeed. You all know that all products pass through the journey of basic science to proof of concept, to early stage technology development, to product development, and finally leading to production and marketing. Therefore, long-term investments in basic and applied research and development play an important role in the flow of market-based innovations through a complex systems that leverages the combined talents of scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, business managers, and industries. We as a university play a pivot in creating new knowledge and skills. The ability to develop and exploit new technologies, as well as understanding how technology and society interact, are all critical success factors that universities contribute to this process. Therefore, we need to experiment more across disciplines and sectors in our search for new and more effective ideas for a sustainable future. Hence, the development of entrepreneurial and intrapreneurial competencies in our education is becoming increasingly important. Moreover, in combination with university research excellence as a key factor for a high university innovation impact, the importance of geographical and relational closeness between the industry and university researchers can also not be underemphasized. So at BMU, we have a strong connect with the industries, and industries, in fact, are an integral part of our education through research centers of excellence, industry relevant curricula, 30% of which is revised every year, 50% of faculty coming from industry who are involved in teaching courses, rigorous internships through our robust practice school program. So thus a vibrant community of faculty, scientists, technologists, and entrepreneurs is required to assure that the flow of knowledge and information happens throughout the entrepreneurial ecosystem, which Kapil was also talking about today. Having said so, I must emphasize, which I learned from yesterday's panel discussion, that while the technical aspects such as research and development, business models, financial projections are usually important, but the softer aspects like purpose, value system, trust, and transparency are also equally important for the founder and investors to work together successfully. Finally, I must say that the current crisis has led to the adoption of technology also by incubators. The era of virtual incubators has started. The incubators, which have been largely physical, are integrating technology to provide virtual incubation. The incubators of future would be providing seamless support across physical and virtual pathways. In fact, as Kapil said, we all need to work in a collaborative environment, co-incubate the companies, share our research and development resources, and human intellect as well to achieve results for the economic growth of our own country. With these remarks, I congratulate all the teams who have participated in this Pitch Fest. There would be winners, but no one is the loser, as the rest would have learned a lot. In the end, I would again like to thank Shri Srivastava ji for finding time for us, and Professor Davinder, Professor Vishal, and teams in making this Pitch Fest a success. And I'm thankful to our Chancellor, Shri Sunil Khan Munjal ji, also to be with us in this concluding session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Moving ahead, I would now like to invite Professor Devendra Singh. Sir has over 25 years of extensive industry experience as a senior manager, both with global companies and Indian companies. At BML Munjal University, he has been teaching courses in innovation, strategy, and entrepreneurship, and has also been leading Propel Incubator at BML. I request Sir to kindly take it ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Shri Saurabh Srivastava ji. Welcome, Shri Sunil Khan Munjal ji, Professor Manoj Arora, other dignitaries, friends, and faculty. I hope we are all keeping safe. We are practicing the precautions to keep ourselves safe. It's been over about 26 hours that we've been doing this Propel Pitchfest 21. This is the second edition of the Pitch Fest, which is the annual startup event that the university had started in order to encourage the young startups, the startups who are working in the universities or in the colleges, and give them a platform where they can not only showcase their talent, their ventures, but can also learn from interacting with other successful entrepreneurs, investors, and other ecosystem players. I would now take a few minutes to basically tell you what is the journey of our second edition of Pitchfest has been. We started this journey in February. On February 26th is precisely when we started inviting the entries from the students, from the startups. And this was on till April of 15th. So almost about 9 weeks we provided to the students and to the startups to apply. Over this 9 weeks period, we had 190,000 hits to our entry page, out of which 565 registrations, which were comprising of 303 startups, happened. Now, very interestingly, I'm also sharing with you what has been the composition of these entries. 75% of these entries have come from students, and which was exactly what our intent was, that we wanted the student startups to really participate in this. So we've been successful in getting a large number of students to participate. Interestingly, some of the working professionals have also applied, which really meant that they were no longer students, or they had come out of university and but still were working on a startup, and they're coming here. If you look at the stage in which the entries are, the startups are, it's a fairly well spread. A little over 1/3 have come from those startups which are in a very early stage of an idea, but a fairly good almost another 1/3 is really coming from those who are advanced beyond the idea and have reached a proof of concept or a prototype. But a good almost 27% of them are those which are either in the market, having an early revenue, or about to launch. So we had a very good set of entries, very well spread out, which showed that we had reached out to a fairly wide set of startups to invite them to our thing. And as expected, because these are young startups, most of them were working as a bootstrap. So 80% of the bootstrap. About 10% of them are getting some kind of a government scheme, funding through some kind of government scheme. Another 10%, which is interesting, also have got an angel investment into their startup. So this is some statistic that I just wanted to share in order to show that this year, in this edition, we have had not only a larger number of entries, but also more well spread out entries, and has a good representation across the board. While we got these entries, we also made sure that we don't just take an entry and put them into a pitching contest, but we also organized some relevant inputs for them. So we held series of master classes, and these were on topics which are relevant to an early startup. Things like venture valuation. A lot of startups are confused. Should they be creating value, or should they be starting to chase valuation? So that's the kind of debate that we wanted them to kind of handle, and we got in experts to do that. Another one was legal readiness for startup ventures, because some of our experience has shown that especially technical people, or even to that extent, I think many of the young startups, not necessarily from technical, they're more focused in terms of developing the solution, developing the product or the service, but really miss out that in order to have a successful commercial startup, a certain element of legal readiness is required and legal structure is required. So we had Samvad partners, conduct a session for them to say what are the basic legal measures that they need to be aware of and need to execute in order to be able to become a strong contender for funding. Otherwise, a lot of hard work gets slowed down simply because it takes much longer for them to meet the legal requirements. And finally, what most startups require is the funding. And how do you really get the first round of funding? While we saw that 10% have got angel investment, but a good 90% of them are still looking for investment in future. So we had Dhruv Nath, who is part of Lead Angels, an angel network, investor network. So he took a session with them in terms of making them understand what should they really be doing, how should they be positioning themselves in order to get the first round of funding. Having said that, because they are participating in a pitching contest, so we got Pankaj Thakkar, who is the founder and chief mentor at Padup Ventures, to conduct a session for all the finalists in order to prepare them for their pitches. And I think today's pitches, the quality of today's pitches is a reflection of some of the inputs that he gave in, were used by the teams extensively. Not only that, while this was all happening, we also organized today morning an investor clinic for the startups, and 35 startups really got an opportunity to have one-to-one sessions with angel investors and also with legal experts. The intent there was for them to get some very quick top-level inputs from people who have the experience and the knowledge and the desire to help these startups. That was the first objective. The second objective was that to give these budding startups an opportunity to start building a network which would be helpful to them in future as they grow and they create their ventures, and they would need to be connected with this kind of a network. So this is what we have done, and we are very happy that the responses that we have got from the startup who have participated is very positive. We've also been getting some of the other startups who haven't had the chance to fill in their entries in time to show the interest and look forward to the future. So thank you so much, everybody, all the partners who have helped us do this thing. We are now at a stage where we would be requesting the jury panel to share the results with us. So thank you so much, everybody. Over to you, Ekta.
Thank you, sir. Finally, the time has arrived and we are thrilled to announce the results. I congratulate all the startups for reaching the final round of Pitchfest. And I believe reaching here is an achievement in itself. Before we share the results, let us see what the finalists and the winners will be getting. All the finalists will be getting the TIE Delhi NCR membership, first year program by our ventures, and pitching opportunity with angel investors. The finalist gets 50% discount on Slate cash management package. The runner-up teams will get cash award of INR 30,000, incubation at Propel with seed funding of 1 lakh INR, and 100% discount on Slate cash management package. The winning teams will get cash award of INR 50,000, incubation at Propel with seed funding of 2 lakh INR, and 100% discount on Slate cash management package. I would request our jury members to kindly share their views on the pitching so far. Amit, so you can go ahead with your views, or any one of you can go ahead with your views on the pitching.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Ajay, we'll start with you.
Okay. Oh, whichever. Okay. Well, it is very heartening to see the pitches actually, because it's nice to see that young people actually being so innovative, and actually it was very impressive that they've also got patents for some of their products, and it was a tough choice to actually choose one winner and one runner-up, because they were all 8 pitches were very nice. I just a small thing for people who are starting up. One, I mean, when you start a business, you are going to pivot, which is fine, but you have to be flexible as a promoter. And that I think is the biggest thing. So when we look at funding, I really look at the promoters also, and not just the business idea, because the business idea can change over time. Also, I think that, trying to be a Me Too, which is 10% better than what exists today, is really not how you're going to capture any share of the market. You have to be at least 50%, if not 100% better. So the one is, of course, identifying the problem, but solving the problem in the most efficient way is actually more important than just identifying the problem. And finally, I think ideas are easier to come by, but I think the key difference between the startup that fails and succeeds is really the execution. So I think we should never forget how important execution is, because I think that is going to be the differentiator going forward. That's it for me, I think. Go ahead, Amit.
Hey, thanks, Ajay. I think most of the points beautifully covered by you. I think in terms of the 3 jury members completely aligned on the winners and the runners-up, because it was not easy. We had a discussion of about 15-20 minutes on the same. But overall, I think being a part of the entire event, I think did one nice session on demystifying valuations with the students. It was fabulous to be a part of that. And valuations are something that everybody is running after. But the key takeaway for me, from me to all the students, was that it is good to create value. Valuation will follow. I think that is what you should typically do when you are an entrepreneur. Second, also a part of the investor clinic in the morning. It's great to be interacting with founders, and somebody coming forward and asking for your so-called pearls of wisdom is always nice to know that people want to have some feedback from you. So again, a great experience this morning. And finally, being a part of the grand finale and being a part of a beautiful jury, Ajay and Manish, I think it was awesome to be with you guys. And I'm sure that given an opportunity, I've always asked Professor Davinder, he can reach out to me for anything, and I'll be more than happy to help the university with whatever I can. So over to you, Manish, for your comments.
Thanks, Amit. And first and foremost, thank you, Professor Davinder Singh, for inviting us and for having this wonderful event. Very well crafted. The team has done a very excellent job on briefing the jury members or the panelists or this thing, and detailing to the level of the T's are dashed and the I's are dotted. That is not. I've seen many of the IIT events also. Udhar bhi it is not. They are not so particular about these things. But the students have done a good job. I think we have a great team. So congratulations for that. The only thing is, if many of these are final year students, you'll have a tough time next year getting same set of enthusiasm and the meticulousness from the new batch of guys. And yes, so as Amit said and as Ajay said, the teams that were selected were quite good, very interesting. Many of them right on the street, and not like ones which are typically just an idea is there and they've come to present it out. There are people who are actually in the market, who are doing POCs, who are selling their wares, their services, and making a difference out there. So interesting to see how the young crowd is there to how to change the world. At least as they say, they have their paths chalked out for themselves. Maybe they falter, maybe they fall down sometime. But once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. They will remain that. They won't be able to work under anyone, and they'll create something. Maybe not this venture, maybe the next venture or next to next venture. So big kudos to the founders, entrepreneurship, and the great job being done at the Propel Incubator. Thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we'll be moving ahead with the announcements. I would request Mr. Saurabh Srivastava and Mr. Sunil Munjal to felicitate the winners. And I would request now Ajay sir to announce the runners-up for the Propel Pitchfest Indian Startup Product.
Ajay, you're on mute.
Ajay, you're mute.
Okay, sorry. In the product category, the runner-up is Backyard Creators.
Congratulations to the team. I would request the members to switch on their videos to click a photo.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Most welcome.
Good show. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Adi, congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Now I would request Manish sir to announce the winners of Propel Pitchfest21 Indian Startup Product.
Okay, so the runners-up on the product side is none other but Batix Technologies, which is we have so much of lithium, cobalt, nickel, all the metals around. They're trying to reuse them, create batteries out of these, and make things far cheaper within India. So big kudos to them.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Utkarsh.
So much all.
Sure, many congratulations.
Congratulations
Thank
to the
you
team.
so much,
I would
sir.
request you all to switch on the video for a photo.
Thank you so much.
Can you?
So I would just like to share. Last year also we participated, but the idea was different. And last year only we took a pledge. Okay, next year we are going to win this competition no matter what. So our persistence and dedication has helped us to win it. Thank you so much.
Good. Congratulations. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. That's the right spirit.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks.
I would suggest we take down this slide and have a common photograph of the winners and the runners-up with Shri Saurabh Srivastava ji and Chancellor Shri Sunil Munjal ji. Let's have one common photograph of them. Arun, can you please spotlight accordingly? Arun, the winners, the jury, Shri Swastavji and Shri Munjalji. Everybody else, please remove out from the spotlight.
I think he's getting the spotlight in only one frame at a time.
Yeah, no, sir. The spotlight doesn't come on the panelist view, it comes on the attendee view.
Yeah.
So we got that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Good show.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
And good luck and good wishes to both of you.
Thank
All
you.
of you, actually. All three of you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for jury, sir. Thank you.
Right.
You can proceed forward.
Take care.
Moving ahead, we'll be going to Indian Startup Service. I would request Devendra sir to announce the runner-ups for the Propel Pitchfest21 Indian Startup Service.
So Indian Startup Service, we had 4 finalists: Evo, Not Bot, Happy Minds, and Transcreations. The jury, after deliberation, has announced Happy Minds as the runner-up in this category. So congratulations, Happy Minds.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Congratulations to the team. I would request you all to switch on your camera for a photo.
Happy Minds is a service where they are providing psychological help, counseling to students across the country on an app-based system in order to help the students overcome the mental stress and the situation. So congratulations, Happy Minds.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good show. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very much required.
Congratulations, Happy Minds.
Thank you very much.
Now I would request.
Congratulations, Shasu.
Thank you, sir.
Now I would request Amit sir to announce the winner of the Propel Pitchfest21 Indian Startup Service.
So Indian Startup Service, the winner is Transcreations. Congratulations, team Transcreations.
Thank you so much, sir.
Congratulations to the team. Please switch on your video for the photo. Arun sir, if we can have a group photo of the service category as well.
Congratulations to both of you.
Very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
All 3 of you, I guess.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, and congratulations to all the team members. I would now invite Mr. Sunil Munjal, Chancellor, BML Munjal University. He is one of the founder promoters of the Hero Group, India's premier automotive manufacturing group that has evolved from being the world's largest bicycle maker to the largest two-wheeler maker. He is the chairman of Hero Enterprise with interest in insurance distribution, steel making, real estate, and corporate training. He has made strategic investments in several areas ranging from e-commerce to hospitality. He also supports startup on digital learning, community transportation, healthcare, women empowerment, and education. I would request sir to address the gathering.
Thank you. First, my compliments to the team at BMU, the Vice Chancellor, the Deans, Devendra specifically who worked to put together the Pitch Fest. It's not just about the Pitch Fest, but it's about the very philosophy to encourage ideation, innovation, and the ability to make ideas into practical products and services. we've seen right through history that the method for innovation is not only by incentives. There is a need for a facilitating ecosystem to be available. There is a need for support in terms of moral, mental, physical, monetary, mentoring, and a whole host of other kind of support that are required for any ecosystem to be successful if it is going to be a hotbed of innovation. We've often talked of the Valley in California, the Silicon Valley, Cambridge, and then Israel, and a few other such hotspots. Fortunately, over the last few years, India is now spoken of in the same breath as many of these places as a hot spot for new ideas, innovation, and more particularly for startups. Entrepreneurship is not new for India. We have been doing this for millennia, actually 7,000 or 8,000 years. India has had a tradition of trade and business, in starting new trade and business. But the need today to put together new ideas, young people, employment opportunities, and to facilitate meeting public needs, societal needs, through ideas that are actually able to do it quicker, faster, cheaper, more efficiently, with lower wastage, is actually been felt quite an acute manner. And we have seen, even in recent times, when the entire world is battling this COVID pandemic, in the very initial phases, India started to face this with no preparation. Quite quickly, we were able to start preparing things like PPEs, ventilators, and a whole host of other initiatives. Our vaccines too were able to supply India and overseas. We are now facing a second and what appears to be a much deadlier wave of this pandemic. And I'm hoping our startups will once again come together, along with the help from mentors, supporters, funders, angel networks, and more importantly, institutions like Propel at BMU, where the intellectual capabilities, the research mindedness, and the ability of an entrepreneur to put these together will get facilitated. So the idea for doing this at BML Munjal University was to complete the full cycle of how and why this university got set up, was to provide education which is practical, which is experiential, and which is comprehensive, and therefore meets the needs of society, which is why we had said that the research that we will encourage here will also have at least 70% to 75% of it should be translational research, so you can go out and use it. Of course, we will have some pure fundamental research going on as well for the much longer term. And it's also important that institutions and organizations like Propel come in, which marry the needs of industry, which often looks at short-term commercial application of ideas, to just the transformation of somebody's mind into a practical product alongside a university, which by its very nature is able to think long-term. So this was an attempt for us to marry the needs of the academics and industry, of short-term and long-term, of practical needs met with high quality intellectual and research inputs, where brand new ideas are created or existing ideas are modified significantly to become much more effective and efficient. My compliments to all those who have won. My compliments also to the many who did not win, but made an attempt, because that's where the real challenge lies. For more and more of us to continue to try innovation, to try experimentation, to try new ideas, and try and fructify them into real services and products on the ground. So we offer this nursery. We offer this hotbed hopefully, which will become a hotbed. At this moment, it's early days. It only started about a year ago. This is only the second such initiative that we are doing. And we are delighted with the kind of response we're getting and the places from where this response is coming. So once again, my compliments to the team at BMU for setting this up, and a special thank you to all those who helped the organization, the jury members, the mentors, the funders, the supporters, and a special thank you to the hundreds who pitched in and participated, because that's what the Pitch Fest is really about. It is truly a festival of outstanding pitches. Thank you and all the very best.
Thank you so much, sir. I feel extremely honored to introduce the chief guest for today, Mr. Saurav Srivastava. Mr. Srivastava is one of India's leading entrepreneurs, investors, and institution builders. He has worked extensively in the US, UK, Singapore, and India. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has presented him with an award for contribution to the Indian IT industry, and the President of India has awarded him the Padma Shri. He co-founded and chaired key institutions of modern India focused on IT and entrepreneurship, NASSCOM. Indian Venture Capital Association, TIE, Indian Angel Network, world's largest angel investors group with over 100 portfolio companies and 470 investor members globally. Thank you, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule and joining us today. I would like you to say a few words.
Before you do, let me also add my special thank you to Saurabh for accepting our invitation to be here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sunil, and thank you all for inviting me today. For me, it's a pleasure and also a privilege to be here at such a fine institution as the BML Munjal University. So first of all, let me just tell all the winners and losers, I congratulate you both. And the thing with people who didn't win, I need to tell you that you have not failed, because you only fail when you choose to stop trying. Till you have yourself decided to stop trying, you have not failed, because you have no idea that most of the very successful entrepreneurs today actually have succeeded not in their first attempt. They did fail. They will not tell you necessarily. Most of them did have failures. So don't worry about the failure and come back again the second time. I'm really happy to be here because entrepreneurship is very close to my heart. And for the last 2 decades, this has been my passion. And there's a good reason, because if you look at India today, a single biggest problem is creating jobs. Our need was 10 million jobs per year. With COVID, actually that number will now go up because many other people have lost their jobs. And if you look at the McKinsey study on the future of work, basically it says almost half of the jobs as we know them today will cease to exist within the next 5 years. And in many ways, what it says is that the best job waiting for you when you leave university might be the job that you create for yourself. So it's really very important for you. The second reason I wanted to add is, the respected Kaufman Foundation did a study in the US over a 40-year period. And they found that in 33 out of those 40 years, net new job growth came from startups. Didn't come from government, didn't come from public sector, didn't actually even come from very large companies. It came from startups. And if you look at that study, we know what we need to do in India. We need to create the startup movement, because they don't just create jobs. Because startups have to compete with established players, they have to do something innovative. Like just earlier, like what Sunil said, they have to be doing something that's faster, quicker, different, unique. They have to do something different, do something differently. And so they pick on challenges and needs that have not been met so far, which are societal needs. And they do things that create a lot of beneficial impact on society. If you look today at almost everything that has changed your lives, it is because some startup has actually created that in recent times. And then startups also become large enterprises. The Hero Group is some classic example. It is, to my mind, started by one of the finest citizens of India and one of the finest entrepreneurs we've ever had. And that's been taken forward by Sunil and his generation. So, I mean, for instance, if you look at it, what Sunil said earlier, that we've had over thousands of years a tradition of entrepreneurship. We forget that barely 350 years ago, India was 25% of global GDP, same as China, and it was the same as all of Europe. So we have been entrepreneurial. I'll give you another example. 30 years ago, when I founded NASCOM, we were a $50 million industry. Today, it's a $200 billion industry. 25% of our foreign exchange comes from there, 20 million jobs, half of them in tier 2, tier 3 city. A third of them, 40% are women. Great contributor to GDP. And except for the Tata Group, 99.9% of companies are people like myself who are first generation entrepreneurs. So you can see what's possible. It was a very different environment some time ago. It was hard to be an entrepreneur in India, but you guys are fortunate because today the government is very focused on entrepreneurship. The whole movement of Startup India has been led by the Prime Minister himself. A lot of enabling policies, structure, availability of debt, equity funds, a lot of that has come in place. There are hundreds now of incubators, thousands of angel investors, a couple of hundred VC funds, corporates like Sunil himself investing in startups. So suddenly the environment has changed. And as a result, we have now become the world's third largest startup hub, the third most active startup hub. We are again number 3 in the number of unicorns, a little under 40. And when we project to 2025, we're talking of 100 unicorns, 100,000 startups. Most likely we will exceed that number. So it's a very, very different world today. And it's been so important for India that this revolution happened. So when COVID happened a year ago, we imported everything. There's nothing that we made in India. Within 6 months, we were exporting. Every single thing is made in India, including sophisticated, complex things like ICU ventilators. Every single thing was being made in India. Beyond just the first wave of COVID, let's look at the second wave, which is much worse, as Sunil had mentioned. The kind of energy that the entrepreneurial ecosystem is showing is phenomenal. They're helping each other. They've created live platforms where you can find out where there are beds, where there's oxygen. Many have actually got together, put some money together. They're importing oxygen machines, ventilators, delivery is running charter flights. So entrepreneurs are deep into helping the country and helping ourselves. That energy is amazing. And I'd say to you, when you look at it, India has many challenges. But for you as entrepreneurs, there are unmet needs. There are opportunities. And today, when I look at entrepreneurs that I see, let me give you some examples. This morning, I spent some time with a startup in space. They are working with ISRO, and they will be giving platforms on which ISRO will launch satellites. They're building ground stations. They're building satellites. And they're doing it at a fraction of the cost. So for today, in the US, and Elon Musk can do it with the kind of money he has. These are startups that are doing it on their own, bootstrapped, raising 10 crores. They change the world. There are startups in the space sector that are using data that they gather to actually help farmers decide what they should do, giving information on crops. There are startups who are doing bioengineered cornea, liver, lungs. A lot of startups in diagnostics, a lot of startups in affordable medical devices. They're changing how things are done. You just put your finger in a non-invasive way in one of these devices, and it pretty much gives you all the information that a pathology lab today has to come and take blood and give it to you next day. You can get it right there on the spot. There's a startup that's creating an air purifier, which effectively can pull in and kill coronavirus in your room. In 10 minutes, it's 99% coronavirus free. So you can imagine the work that's going on. The opportunities are absolutely amazing. I would say to all of you that this is probably the best time to be an entrepreneur. I'd make a statement which I don't want you to misunderstand. I've never forgotten the first sentence in my favorite book written by Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. And the first sentence says, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Without question, this is the worst of times. In 75 years, I have never seen things in the way they are today. It is the worst of times. But for you as an entrepreneur, if you choose to be an entrepreneur, this is the best time to contribute. This is the best time to impact society. And this is also the best time to do something different and be successful. So it's the best time for you. You're very lucky to be in a great university which has come from a family with great traditions, which is very focused on entrepreneurship. And I know that at one level, you would describe Mr. Sunil Munjal as a major big corporate leader, but I see him as one of the biggest champions for startups within India. He has helped create so many scores of them. He's been a great supporter of angel networks. So you're in a great place. You have great support. And so I would say to you, this is the number one choice. And let me sort of end by giving you my last word on why I think you should be an entrepreneur today. Apart from the fact that everything is going for you, government policies, availability of capital, availability of mentors, large unmet needs, all of that is there with you. But in my mind, there are only two people who can create something out of nothing. One is God, but that position is taken. The other is an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur creates a living entity, a company with people, with impact on society. It benefits humanity. So since it's too late to be God, and if one of you are that, then it's great, but it is in your power to become an entrepreneur. So I would urge all of you, take advantage of where you are, take advantage of what's available, and become an entrepreneur. And with that, I just want to thank you very much for inviting me here, and it's an actual pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I now invite Professor Devendra Singh to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Srivastav, such nice words and such words of encouragement. And I think the one line that you spoke out of Charles Dickens' novel is the best of the time and the worst of times. I think this is the most apt line we can all think of. And really thank you for reminding us about this being, look for the positive, look for the opportunity rather than be bogged down by the crisis. So thank you, Saurabhji, for accepting our invite and being with us, being our chief guest, and sharing such inspiring words and words of encouragement with the young startups. They will remember this for a long time. I would also like to thank Chancellor Shri Sunil Kant Munjal ji. He has constantly been challenging us to raise the bar of our performance, year after year, month after month. And we really thank you for pushing us and challenging us. Please keep doing it. I would like to thank Mr. Akshay Munjal, who is not here right now, President of BML Munjal University, and also like to include Professor Manoj Arora, the Vice Chancellor of the university, for the leadership that they have provided to the innovation and entrepreneurship agenda of the university. I would like to next thank Dr. Vishal Talwar, who is Dean School of Management and Director, Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, for supporting us and mentoring us during the planning and execution of this event, Propel Pitchfest21. It's with his direction, it's with his vision that we've been able to raise the bar this year with Propel Pitchfest21. Other deans, Professor Manik Kumar and Professor Nigam, have always been facilitating our efforts, and they've been supporting on a continuous basis throughout this journey of Pitchfest, which has been spread over the last 2 months. Next, I would like to thank the jury members who joined us today for the pitching contest, and all the panelists who have been part of the discussions, for they have not only shared their time, but they've also shared their thoughts, their views, their experience, and their knowledge, which is going to be very, very helpful to not just the startup, but also the students, because it's not these thoughts and knowledge is not just relevant to startup, but it's also important for everybody to build an entrepreneurial mindset. So thank you all for panelists and the jury members for being with us and sharing your thoughts. I would now like to thank all the teams, all the 303 teams which participated, especially the teams which reached the finals, because that shows that they had really put in not the effort just earlier, but even during this contest, they made extra effort to be there. So we really appreciate you, all the teams and the finalists, for having given a value to being part of this festival, this Pitch Fest, and being encouraging us to give you a better platform in the coming years. I would now like to thank the participants and attendees over the last 2 days. We know all of us are having somebody nearby within our family facing a medical crisis. Many of you have still, beyond that, taken time out and attended the sessions here. So we thank you for your active participation. My thanks would not be complete unless I also mention the supporting partners who have been through this journey with us. I'd like to thank One Valley, Kapil Gaba from One Valley, for believing in us and supporting this program. Slate Accounting Systems, I'd like to thank them as well. I'd like to also thank Startup India for encouraging us to do activities like this and supporting us with their support, with their acknowledgement. An event like this has a very important role if we can get angel investors and the networks who have a good set of angel investors to come and join us. So 3 angel networks who have supported us, I would like to thank them. They are Indian Angel Networks, Lead Angels, and R Ventures. The 3 of them have participated, sent their members to join us, not in one session, but in multiple sessions. We'd also like to thank Samvad Partners. They are a legal firm which has been helping us throughout this event. And they have held master classes, they've held investor legal clinics. We thank them for that. Paddock Ventures has been encouraging the startups through their training. We've also been supported by Innovitas, India Global, Seed Stars, and Steamhouse Incubator at Birmingham City University. All of them have brought their network to our disposal in terms of spreading the word about this Pitch Fest. So we thank all of them. An event of this magnitude requires a team effort. Single-handedly, nobody can do it. And we have been fortunate to have a team which has performed well above expectation and has set standards, as Amit had said a little while ago, very high. And it would be difficult for us if we don't have a good team and a better team next year to really, really deliver against it. Two faculty members, Professor Atul Mishra and Professor Rajesh Yadav, had joined me in working on this project. And interestingly, the most of the work had actually been done by a team of students. So really our work was done largely by this team of students, and I like to put their names on right now on the screen. And these students are not just the final year students. Interestingly, many of them are actually the first year students. So there are students, Chinmay, Devyani, Jaykishan, Ekta, Akanksha, Dive, Akarsh, Akansha, Farhan, Gurleen, Akansha again. So we got lots of Akanshas here. And Manas, Himanshu, Kakul, Somya, Nipun, Tityam, Rishika, Supreet, Manvi, Shivam, Prachi. Believe it or not, they didn't let me sleep over the last 2 months. They would hold meetings at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the night. And at times they might even send me a WhatsApp message, which will be like 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night. But this is the kind of energy which kept us 3 faculty members to be really working with them and feeling very, very confident that what they are going to do would come out well. And I think today's event and today's appreciation has borne us right. So I'm very happy to have held this event. We, on behalf of the BML Munjal University, we would like to thank everybody being part of it. So now I would like us to just remember one thing, that we are still in the midst of a medical crisis. And one of the things that we need to do is to practice the safety measures, all of us individually and at family level, we need to do that. Because there are a whole lot of families that are going through stress, and to ease their stress, we need to reduce the requirement of medical facilities. And the one way we are all should do is to just be careful in what we do, how we handle ourselves. Thank you everybody for being with us over the last 2 days and over the last 2 months. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you, Professor Devinder, for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji.
Chalo ji. Good luck, everyone. Well done. Good show.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Great, Devinder.
Thank you, sir.
Chalo ji. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
All the winning teams, you will be receiving your certificates. Winning team and finalists, you would be subsequently receiving your certificates from us. And we would be happy to remain in touch with you. You have the contact details. We would be happy to take the conversation forward. And winners, you will hear from us and how these benefits will be delivered to you in the next week.